You probably didn't see the thumbnail, Steve. I put.
I did not.
Here, let me pull it up real quick. See if I can. Yeah. Here. This was the thumbnail for tonight. Welcome in, everybody, by the way. I put the end in big letters, and then I put, holy horse mackerel, wake up, girl.
Wait, that's not the way the book looked.
Once Upon a Dream, it was.
No, that's not what mine looks like. That one looks like the normal ones.
Yes. This one got other cover.
Oh.
I found another cover for this one, but every copy that you find has got the original cover.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on the last one, and he's just now. No, I'm just kidding.
I've not been paying much attention to this one.
No,
that's a lie.
All right. Hey, I forgot to turn off the little heart thingy in the chat.
Oh man,
I gotta do that. Excuse me.
Xanlax said it's been so long we forgot what it really looked like.
That's true too. How was your Tuesday?
Not terrible. Started out by waking up this morning. It was a good one. Then I went to work, which was a little less exciting. Then came home and been cleaning and drawing a picture for painting, and going from there.
Nice. I keep thinking today is Monday for some reason.
Is what?
I keep thinking today's Monday.
Don't be slowing down the week.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I guess because I was at the hospital all day yesterday, and then
That's yeah.
Oh, you can now turn the heart off on your own, Stacy. Oh, okay. I didn't know you could do that. Cool. Well, I just turned it off for everybody. So let's welcome in the chat, and then we're going to get to this book because
let's get reading. We got extra time. We'll do something different.
Exactly. Welcome in Nicole, Happy Haunt, Stacy Rogers, 100 Acre Wood, Jan S. Disney, dear Debbie Burnfeld, welcome in. Good to see you. Let's scroll down now. Marin Memphis, welcome in. Good to see you. Debbie Thuner, welcome. Howdy. Christine Hickman, welcome in. Main Street Nick, good evening, Nick. There she is.
Oh man.
The lovely, the beautiful, the ever so talented. The Daisy to my Donald. The peaches to my cream. I don't know why I said that one, but there we go.
That sounds very inappropriate. Carry on.
The chili to my bandit. The Lois Lane to my Clark Kent. My sweet snickerdoodle. Hello, Angela.
Hello, Angela.
Samantha Lowe, welcome in. Wendy B, what's up? Good to see you. Let's see. I got to scroll down now. Movie Mania Nick. That's 2 Nicks for the price of 1. Welcome. Zanlax, good to see you. Howdy. Let's see. Scroll on down. Jeep and Joy. Hello, neighbor. Good evening. Let's scroll on. Mike 88 NYC, welcome. Good evening. We've got Robert Dixon. Good evening. Justin Sanudo, you lovely, handsome man. Hello. And did I get everybody? Might have got everybody.
Oh. Let's start reading. Let's get this thing over with.
We're going to do that. So
we can talk about real other stuff later.
In the just to catch you up,
yep.
They the Prince and Aurora had met up with the 3 fairies, or alternate versions of the 3 fairies. They had started the hike to go back to the castle to confront Maleficent, and whoosh, there was a weird interlude, and all of a sudden they were in the throne room. Pretty much. Then they started fighting.
Craziest interlude ever.
It was weird interlude.
Yep.
Weird.
Carry on.
Then they started the battle with Maleficent. The 3 fairy godmothers attacked first, and both of them went poof. Pete, welcome in. Gestational periods of different animals each night. Chickens are complete. Thank you, Pete. Yes. So the 3 fairies are poof, and that left Aurora and the Prince, and many of the guards of Maleficent's guards had been taken out.
True that.
Yeah. So we're picking up with another denouement.
They did, Justin. We're on another denouement. We're going to go back and forth reading a little bit tonight. So
yes,
let her fly, sir. Let her fly.
There was an extra chapter that we missed, so
we just wanted it to be over.
Yeah. So here we go. The prisoners looked on in horror. The prince put himself in front of Aurora Rose, between her and the fairy. But the princess was no longer paying attention. The will o' the wisps, the green, blue, and red embers, had begun to bob in the air, making their way over to her. They passed practically under Maleficent's nose, and the evil fairy looked more shocked and confused than angry. Bouncing slowly in the air as if they had all the time in the world, they crossed the open space while everyone watched silently. When they finally got to Aurora's, they suddenly gained speed, slamming into her flesh with hot sparks. Rose, Philip cried. Aurora Rose began to laugh. Maleficent didn't blink. Like a snake, she showed her surprise by freezing in place. And the princess kept laughing. Not a giggle, not hysteria, not the sounds of someone who realizes she is about to die and is therefore going mad, but a genuine, full throated laugh. Rose, the prince said slowly. All of her memories fell silent. The dream of the Thorn Castle and her childhood in the forest cottage both faded before the realizations of the here and now. She felt alive, as if for the first time, fully awake and present. Her blood sang with the desire to protect her kingdom, the will to fight for the lives of her subjects and for Philip, and the knowledge of how to do it. I will not show clemency despite your apparent insanity, Maleficent said carefully, obviously confused by what had just happened and trying to pretend she wasn't. You will still die. No, Aurora Rose said. This changes everything, and I'm not going to die. She stretched like she had just risen from a long sleep. It was a big, luxurious stretch. The magic vines and branches fell away from her like they had never been. She glowed, not like Maleficent, but with a healthy heat behind her eyes and under her skin. My true gifts, she added, returned to me. Truly useless gifts, Maleficent said. What good are grace and song and beauty, especially to a dead girl? Not those gifts. Those were bestowed upon me by others. These are my true natural gifts: intelligence, bravery, and compassion. Those three you killed weren't actually fairies at all. They were parts of me, my true self, hidden from me by you, dampened, darkened, just like everything else in this wretched realm, just as I myself had was hidden away from the world, first in the woods and then in a dream. Bravery, intelligence, please. You're nothing but a silly little princess, Maleficent spat. Aurora Rose couldn't have controlled her anger if she had wanted to. Maleficent suddenly flew backward, buffeted by a mad wind that came out of nowhere, a devil of dust and air that exploded and then disappeared. The evil queen managed to keep from hitting the floor only by clawing at the throne. Her raven called and flapped its wings to stay upright. I am not a silly little princess, Aurora hissed. I am Aurora Rose, rightful queen of this kingdom, and your judge and executioner, you silly little fairy. Maleficent forced herself to stand upright, the pain of it obvious as she straightened her back. Her eyes flared. How dare you? That's all you are, a silly little fairy grown too big for her britches. Thinks she's big, bad, powerful sorceress because she's queen of a dream world. The stones in the floor grew. They pushed up in columns and pillars all around Maleficent and the throne, groaning and screeching as they stretched against each other. The wall they made around the fairy looked like the teeth of a very old woman, like they would swallow her whole. It would have been a nice ending, but Aurora Rose wasn't at all surprised when, after barely a moment's silence, the granite palisade blew apart. Shards of glass, sharp rock rained on everyone in the room. Maleficent's prisoners cowered and screamed and covered their heads. One of the remaining guards took a chest full of shrapnel, crumpling on the floor. None of the shards hit Aurora Rose, though. They had just avoided her. When the dust settled, Maleficent was revealed standing in a very unmaleficent pose, fists curled in anger and legs bent, ready for another attack. Her teeth, the only thing about her that remained white, were bared and animal like. Liana, behind the throne still, was picking herself up and calmly brushing herself off. Insolent whelp, Maleficent hissed. It's the truth, Maleficent, Aurora said evenly. It's not even your world, it's mine. I still have your blood, dreamer. You may think you are in control of the world, but I control you. Maleficent shook her staff. The green liquid, the blood transformed, swirled around in it strangely. Aurora Rose suddenly felt sick. Her mind and stomach wobbled. All the strength and energy she had felt just a moment earlier drained out of her through her feet, like when she was getting a cold, or it was the first day of her moon blood, or everything else seemed pointless and gray. Rose, Aurora, Philip cried out. He put his hands on her shoulders and shook her. Rose, she's doing it to you. It's not real. Maleficent was grinning. She raised her staff. For my help in these last few hours, I summon thee with my dark powers. Golem and demon and Ifrit and imp. Heed my call and no incantations, Aurora Rose said weakly. A powerful wind rose and spun around Maleficent, ripping her capes and sucking her breath and words away. It might not have been quite in time. A thing appeared. It was black and half formed, with sunken red eyes that glowed like the last embers of a dying fire. It looked around once and then charged. But instead of heading for Aurora Rose, it made for closer prey, the residents of the castle. The poor prisoners had just begun to realize that without Maleficent's servants guarding them, they were free to escape, but were faced with gargantuan piles of rubble and stone blocking the exits, a floor that didn't exist in places, and now a giant demon thing that hungered for their blood. Servants, children, once dignified ladies and noblemen all began to run from one end to the other of the room, from one end of the room to the other, looking for a way out. There was a lot of chaotic spinning around and screaming. Aurora Rose started to gather her concentration again. I'll deal with that, Philip said, interrupting. He drew his sword. You take Maleficent. The evil queen was already taking another deep breath and just gesticulating with her staff again. Aurora Rose tried not to close her eyes. She pictured the roats she had often sat on and napped between when she lived with the fairies. Big, strong tree roots, friendly and ancient, almost like retort to the sickly black vines that had held her. Healthy brown oak roots quickly grew through the stones of the floor and the doors and the windows of the room. They even came down the chimney. Little green leaves sprouted here and there as if they wanted very badly to become a tree. Maleficent lifted one foot and then the other, swiftly, trying to avoid being tripped up by these as they slipped around her. But physicality was not Maleficent's strong suit. In a matter of moments, stout brown ropes twined up her middle and began to squeeze, hardening. Little twigs crept across her face, but she couldn't quite make it over her mouth. A loud huff from Philip broke Aurora Rose's concentration. She turned to look. The half-formed demon had clapped him on the side with a ridiculously large and stumpy hand, knocking his breath out, perhaps cracking a rib. Philip staggered, then turned that into a stunning repose, riposte, in which he drove his sword up into what passed as the creature's belly. While Aurora Rose watched, distracted, Maleficent managed to finish another conjuration. It would have been almost funny if it hadn't been something out of Aurora Rose's worst nightmares. Standing between her was a 3-legged, 7-foot tall, attenuated, and unnatural monster with 2 heads. It looked like a child's poor drawing, a joke of a demon. Except that one of the heads was her mother's, the other her father's. They wore crowns. They gibbered meaninglessly at her, their long arms spinning in the air. But she could understand their words in her head. Is this how a princess behaves? You are no queen. I am, Aurora Rose said, swallowing, forcing herself to look into their insane, brightly colored eyes. You're dead. You're not real. It takes more than breath to make a queen. We can help you. Take our wisdom and love. Aurora Rose made wood and stone rain down from the ceiling between her and the parent monster. Then on the parent monster. Each time the thing was struck, it howled, and their strangely familiar distorted and pale faces contorted and pouted. We love you. Come here. It was a mistake. They put out their long, sinuous arms. Maleficent rolled her staff, spoke to the blood, and Aurora Rose had the faintest moment of doubt. Would it be so bad, really, to die, believing she was finally in the arms of her real parents, believing that they truly loved her? It would be the only chance she ever had. Everyone died eventually. Did it matter when? Did it matter how? She would probably die in this battle anyway. At least she would be blissful for that last moment. The hand of her mother's side brushed her arm. The hand on her mother's side brushed her arm. Aurora's reacted without thinking. A sword suddenly in her own hand, and the creature's arm suddenly on the floor. Her doubt was over. The spell was broken. The evil fairy had been controlling her, causing her not to care, pulling on her overwhelming desire to be loved. But Aurora had parents already. The 3 fairies were the ones who raised her, and Stefan and Leah were gone. Now she was the queen. She had to survive and save everyone else. The parent monster hooted and howled. Ungrateful child, hide behind your prince. Die, little girl. With terrible gargling cries, it bore down on her, flailing oversized hands at her head. Sick with anger, Aurora Rose willed the rest of the ceiling to pour down. It funneled onto the parent monster like a giant whirlpool, sucking at it. The whole floor above was eaten away in their destruction. You're sick, Maleficent, Aurora Rose spat. Through her rage, she felt the world around her again, the world that was part of her. All of it was a weapon. Eyes closed and chanting, Maleficent ignored her. More things were appearing as she summoned them. Scaly, many-footed creatures with long beaks full of teeth. They ran off, snapping and rending and ready to kill the moment they appeared. The castle dwellers crowded into the remaining corner of the throne room as Philip tried to protect them. Aurora Rose desperately imagined all of the stones in the castle, reminded them who they owed their allegiance to. Boulders and cornerstones ripped themselves from the walls and towers. The evil fairy flung out her staff. The stones stopped in midair and flew to the side, blocked by an ugly green wall of flames that covered around Maleficent, protecting her. She grinned in nasty triumph as the bones of the castle were engulfed by her fiery flame. But the light of the staff's orb was growing dimmer. The shrieks of men and women and children rose as Philip attempted to drive off the beasts that were attacking them. Aurora Rose tried not to let her concentration falter, tried to focus on what she needed to do. Killing Maleficent was the only way to save them. One of the demon beasts rose in front of Aurora Rose. It snapped its jagged black beak in her face. The stench of decay and rot enveloped her. Its claws raked across her chest. Sparks jumped from its talons. If she hadn't been wearing the armor, it would have torn her open from rib to belly. Then she remembered. She also had a sword. She brought it up between them. The demon leapt on her anyway and knocked her to the ground. The thing tried to take out her eyes with its beak, slavering and whistling insanely as it thrashed. Its body was hot and slimy and all over her, its weight crushing. Aurora Rose tried to protect her face from the hilt with the hilt of her sword. The monster's beak snapped over the blade with a terrible clang, shattering orange cartilage everywhere. Far from stopping it, the pain only drove it madder. She panicked, flailing violently. All she wanted was for it to be off of her. She didn't think of magic. She didn't care what happened to Maleficent. She screamed, "Get off of her!" And then the weight was gone. Philip was above her. He had the creature in his bare hands, was throttling its writhing neck, sword forgotten. His face was a mask of fury, his eyes flashing red. Die, beast of hell. He knelt and smashed it on the floor. Again and again and again, he crushed its head against the stone. It fought its death in unnatural silence, but for the scrape of its claws against the floor. Finally, it went still. "You all right?" Philip asked gruffly. Aurora Rose nodded. "I love you," he said, and then he was away after another demon. Aurora Rose staggered to her feet, hand on her face where blood flowed and her skin burned from the demonic creature's spittle. Maleficent was laughing. "Oh, look at the little princess who needs a prince around to save her. Can't even fight her own fights. Needing someone once in a while doesn't make me weak, you pathetic harridan. It makes me human. Who is on your side, Maleficent?" In a fit in a fit of pettiness the princess hadn't even realized she had, a cage of roots grew up out of the throne and around the fairy's raven before it could even squawk. Aurora Rose imagined the blue fairy muttering "birds of a feather," and then she smiled, knowing it was something she would say. At first glance, Liana seemed to be watching this with mild interest, either waiting for a similar punishment or merely intrigued by the concept. But she was also gripping the back of the throne, her white knuckles revealing that the fight had finally stirred some sort of survival instinct in her inhuman psyche. The castle was all in ruins now, most of it obliterated in the battle with Maleficent. A strange sky glowed overhead, scrapes of blue and white and rips of midnight black, complete with stars. The people in the castle howled in despair as the world literally crumbled around them. Philip wrestled with the last of the monsters. Aurora Rose buried it along with wisp of a thought. One of the remaining castle walls collapsed on top of it, neatly avoiding the prince. Maleficent was chanting again. "I said no incantations," Aurora Rose repeated wearily. The ground buckled beneath them, rolling and churning like the surface of the ocean in a storm. She wondered vaguely if she had ever seen an ocean in either world. She couldn't remember. Well, it was like a giant mole pushing up. That worked. The castle floor broke, a puzzle ripping apart along its edges. A single finger of stone heaved up suddenly right under the queen. Maleficent was tossed into the air unceremoniously. She landed on a surprisingly violent snap on the ground in a heap. Better make sure. Aurora Rose closed her eyes then. The walls of the outer keep, now visible through the ruins of the castle, flew apart like apple blossoms caught in the wind and paused for a moment, swirling over Maleficent. Then they crashed onto her body with a satisfying and delicious crack.
Could have done without some things in that chapter, but
yeah.
All right, here we go. Consider the dragon again. For the first time since the battle had begun, there was a hush. The demons were all dead. The people in the castle looked around at each other, guardfully hopeful. Aurora Rose let out a deep breath. The excitement of the fight, the adrenaline high of survival was leaving her. She slumped, feeling exhausted. Her dream world was destroyed. The Thorn Castle was no more, torn down to its very elements in the battle against Maleficent. Distances were messed up. Things that were far away were too clear and large, as if they had been drawn in wrong. Clothes and beds and golden bric-a-brac littered the ground like an oversized dollhouse had been smashed by a giant child. The remaining denizens of the castle looked pitiful and few, now exposed to the mad sky. They pressed against the crumbling remains of the giant thorns that were the only things left to mark the borders of the castle walls. The vines no longer prevented anyone from leaving, but neither did they offer any protection. The raven began to caw. It might have sounded piteous to some, but to Aurora Rose, it sounded like fingernails on slate, and it took her all of her willpower not to crush the bird in its woody cage. I don't think she's done yet, Lyanna said unexpectedly. The evil handmaiden had spoken neither excitedly nor disappointedly. She was just making an objective observation. She looked interestedly at where the body of Maleficent lay buried underneath the giant pile of debris. Obviously, Lyanna, Aurora Rose said disgustedly, we're all still here, not awake. She's not dead. Lyanna looked shocked, maybe even a little hurt by the princess's tone of voice. You're right, of course. I hadn't thought. I thought logic didn't work in dreams, she said a little philosophically. Yes, and you also thought I was a lot dumber than I really am. And then across the silence of the strange world with the tiniest noise of pebbles shifting, of dust sifting down through an unseen blackness. A clink of small rocks began being shoved aside one at a time. A laborious shifting of weight, one rock grinding painfully against another. A single piece of rubble fell off the top of the pile, ominously bouncing and sliding its way down to the ruined and uneven castle floor. Then everything was silent. Aurora Rose turned to say something to Philip, and a hand shot up out of the pile, stabbing its way to the light. A big clawed black hand. No, Philip whispered, as if it was gaining strength from the sheer... Oops, I hit too many buttons. There it is. As if it was gaining strength from the sheer possibility of release from its stony prison, the creature underneath the rocks began to shift and move. Waves and waterfalls of boulders and rubble tumbled heavily to the floor. Aurora Rose quickly used up what was left of the castle, trying to crush the horrific thing that was slowly emerging. Giant beams, bedrock, furniture, statues, the walls and windows and turrets, the very tower she had jumped from. It all converged on the spot, forced itself into impossibly small spaces as she imagined crushing the life out of Maleficent. Stones screamed and exploded. Burning liquid scree filled in the gaps in the stones, sealing it. There was nothing left. A hot, dusty breeze scoured the desolate plain that had once been a castle. The only thing that remained unbroken and upright were the throne and the stage hovering oval that showed the real sleeping Aurora, the strange hovering oval that showed the real sleeping Aurora. Her face was twisted, contorted, her dreams of battle and violence causing her to react in her sleep. But the dreamer made no noise. Everything was silent. And then the dragon burst forth. It rose from its cracked, stony prison like a lizard from its egg. The thing rose higher and higher into the sky, enormously, nearly as tall as the castle had been. Black and purple and yellow, not like a proper storybook dragon at all. Too skinny here, too lumpy there. Wings that were little more than useless flaps on an ugly blackened stumps of the shoulders. Long, narrow, beak-like mouth full of teeth, like those of the demons Maleficent had summoned. It screamed, the terrible noise ripping across the empty land. Horrific, like something from the end of the world. It shrieked and shook rocks off its seemingly endless, scaly black... No, let me try this again. It shrieked and shook rocks off its seemingly endless, scaly back and continued to grow into the new skin. Get out, Aurora Rose said to Philip without moving her eyes away from the dragon. Get everyone out of here. I'm staying with you. Princes kill dragons. That's what we're all about. You didn't kill her enough last time. Help me after you get everyone away. Philip opened his mouth to argue, but was interrupted by a shout from behind. Good subjects of House Stefan. King Hubert stood on the path that led to the forest, as tall and unmovable as a mountain, despite the ragged clothing flapping around his ankles. On his legs and arms were fresh wounds, deep, ugly gouges still weeping blood. But his good eye, clouded before, was clear and icy. He clasped his stone as if it were a royal orb, and his stick a mighty staff. Father, Philip whispered in wonder, you're alive. Come to the shelter of the forest, Hubert ordered. Follow me and await this battle's ends out of harm's way, now. As if just waiting to be told what to do, the straggling crowd immediately ran to him. He stood aside and gestured them past with his stick like a stern shepherd. And so Aurora Rose's subjects fled into what must have looked like a different kind of death to the Dreamland sleepers. The forest, they had been told, was dangerous and deadly. The princess felt a surge of warmth and gratitude, something she had rarely felt for an adult other than her aunts. People could be surprising. Not everyone in the world was untrustworthy and disappointing. Not everyone lied to you or failed you. Quietly pleased, Philip watched his father with a smile. As the last child ran past him, the king turned and gave a big old Hubert-style wink. He shook his stone and stick and whispered, I'll defend them with my blood. And then he was off behind them, shouting exhortations and marching very precisely. Aurora Rose put a hand to her head. Maleficent's transformation had taken an absurd amount of power, and the blood magic resonated soundly in the princess's body. It was her power the evil fairy stole. She was weak and not ready for what would come next. The dragon reared up. It belched a wide stream of ugly green fire from its beak. Philip grabbed Aurora Rose and swung her to the other side of him, then stood in front of her. Liliana still stood, strangely uncowed by the fire that seemed like it could have just as easily consumed her. As the flames neared them, Aurora Rose whipped up a wind that swept the fire aside and into the sky in a vortex of smoke and ash. The dragon shrieked in frustration, but how could she defeat it? What would disable it? What would, at the very least, trip it up? Gorges. She remembered them from her time in the woods. Steep and narrow at the bottom were shallow, pebbly streams. The world fell out from below the dragon. The ground caved into itself and tumbled into the bottomless pit that opened up. The giant lizard shrieked and fell backwards, clawing desperately to try to stay upright. Aurora Rose felt a tugging inside her head. Give up. You cannot defeat me so easily. The dragon was slithering its way out of the pit, tail and legs moving so quickly and strangely, it was like it was climbing the air itself to get out. Prince Philip ran toward it, sword out. Just at the edge of the pit, he stopped and sliced at the thing's neck, which was now level with the ground. It didn't even scratch a scale. Maleficent threw her head back and laughed, yellow eyes narrowing. That was the only thing, perhaps, that saved Philip from an eye-level blast of hellfire. He ran away past the dragon, zigzagging over the ruined castle floors through what had once been the kitchens, the chapel, and the treasury. He stopped on the other side of the pit and taunted Maleficent, trying to draw her attention away from Aurora Rose. He clanged his sword against his cuirass and hooted, "Too slow, Maleficent." The dragon was now entirely out of the pit. It snaked after him, moving and twitching and shuddering like it hurt to stay still. Aurora Rose pushed her hands apart. She imagined opening up the earth like a giant book. The dragon ran headfirst straight into a hill that suddenly rose before it. It staggered, stunned for a moment, but then it rose, shaking its neck and head and wobbling a bit, and immediately scrabbled over the ground after Philip again. Aurora Rose looked around in desperation. What else could she do? The trees. With a sad twinge, Aurora Rose remembered seeing them for the first time when she escaped the Thorn Castle. How amazed she was that they still existed. Now they pulled themselves out of the ground with creaking, groaning noises. Branches flew off as an invisible hand stripped their trunks to the deadly points. She sent them after Maleficent. The first one slammed the dragon squarely in the back. It swung its head around in an annoyance, brushing it off like a twig and fluttering its useless wings angrily. Aurora Rose threw a dozen more after that, one after another, screaming through the air like large deadly arrows. Maleficent roared, then scampered toward her on ugly, flailing legs, doing little to avoid the trees. The wooden tips blunted, the trunks cracked in half, the missiles bounced off the armor of her skin. When they hit, she merely flinched. Twigs and leaves cannot hurt me, you silly girl. Philip was chasing after the dragon again, slashing at its tail to get its attention. Maleficent's head whipped around faster and seemed possible, and she faster than seemed possible, and she belched a river of green fire at him. Aurora Rose screamed. Ugly, hissing black smoke rose where Philip had been. It drifted ghost-like over the piles of rocks and boulders. The dragon threw back its head and roared out laughter like bile. Then it turned with a certain regal slowness, as if savoring the next bit. Aurora Rose swallowed a sob. She had to not think about Philip. She had to think about the hundreds of people who depend on her, everyone who needed her to live and win and wake up so they could live. What kills dragons? Think, Aurora, she said aloud, panicking. What kills dragons, Philip? Philip had his magic sword. Aurora Rose imagined a dozen of them. They rained on Maleficent from the crazy sky like metal drops plinking against her skin. The dragon's flesh shuddered, crawling and puckering where each one hit. A few scales the size of war shields fell, but no blood was drawn. No weapons of man can destroy me. I am a mere fairy no more. I am the greatest thing in this world. The dragon's tongue, forked and giant, came out of the and ranked over its lips in expectation. The beast slithered slowly up to Aurora. The beast slithered slowly up on Aurora Rose and raised its deadly claw, each nail twice as long as the swords she had summoned and as black as death. And then suddenly, Maleficent's neck snapped back. She screeched in pain, a horrible sound that carried across the world. Standing under her, looking grim, was Liana. She had her little bodice knife sunk deep into the flesh of Maleficent's ankle and was twisting it. But weapons from hell can take back what they are owed. There was a very faint but definite smile on her lips. She pulled her dagger out and sank it again, this time in the flat of the dragon's foot. Maleficent roared with rage and spasmed, shaking her leg to free herself, but the dagger stayed stuck. She turned to bite Liana in half. Suddenly, Philip was there, popping up from behind a boulder. His hair and clothes were singed, and there were burns across his face, but otherwise he seemed unharmed. He cleared the distance between him and Liana in seconds. He grabbed her around the waist like she was no more than a ball in a game and kept running. Maleficent whipped her tail like a club. The tip just touched his side, but it was enough to knock him down. He landed with a sickening, heavy thud, and Liana fell out of his grasp. As fast as a cat with a mouse desperate to escape, the dragon leapt over Philip to pounce on the handmaiden. No, Aurora Rose cried, trying to summon the earth to move, to make a canyon between the two. It was too late. With a look of pure hatred, the dragon ripped its front claws over Liana's face and body. Their needle-sharp tips shredded her flesh and opened her innards to the light of the day. And then, as if it had merely been an annoying task to be dealt with, the dragon was done. Maleficent spun around and faced Philip and Aurora Rose, not even bothering to gloat over her kill. Liana, Aurora Rose cried. Sorry, her old handmaiden wheezed. Then her black eyes froze in place. It was too much. From friend to betrayer to friend and savior to gone. Aurora Rose couldn't process all of it. Stop, she told herself. Mourn her later. Think now. From somewhere unseen, a clock began to strike the hour. Philip and Aurora Rose and Maleficent paused in confusion. There was nothing left to the castle except for the forest. The whole world looked destroyed and grim, flat and featureless in all directions. Yet the distinct bong of a clock could be heard, eerily and perfectly everywhere at once. Cold dread washed over Aurora's face. Maleficent reared up on her hind feet, the left one splayed from the dagger. She laughed. Midnight on the day of after your 16th birthday, Aurora. Now you die, and I live again. Aurora Rose thought desperately. What could she do? All this was because of the curse. All this was because she pricked. Suddenly she knew. She knew what she had to do. Although she had only ever seen one once in the real world, she could bring up a perfect image of it in her memory, the spinning wheel. Bits and pieces of the ruined castle, chairs and tables and beams and other chunks of broken wood began to fly through the air. They spun and interconnected and wiggled until each piece fit, sucking together like lodestones. Aurora Rose frowned, concentrating hard to get the trickier bits in place. They made an ugly, enormous spinning wheel. Maleficent laughed and belched green fire. The spinning wheel caught flame immediately and started to burn away, all but the spindle. the bright black nail with the sharp tip. The dragon looked confused for a moment. Aurora Rose drove the spindle into its heart. The dragon screamed. It spewed fire that changed different hideous colors: bloody red, sickly black, hellfire yellow. Purple and scarlet and black ichor throbbed from the wound in a giant-sized echo of what had happened to the Lady Astrid. Aurora Rose watched with a grim, horrible satisfaction. The dragon clawed at its wound, trying to pull the spindle out, perhaps, but all it succeeded in doing was ripping out patches and scales and flesh. It toppled, falling so hard to the ground, so hard that the ground shook. The princess was almost thrown off her feet. The dragon writhed and scrambled on the ground as if trying to claw its way back to life. It shuddered and hissed and convulsed. Its wings and legs and scales and tail billowed and fluttered and seemed to shrink, to become raggedly flaps of cloth. These finally shredded and collapsed around around what would have been its giant body, except that there was no body anymore either. Just a black and purple and yellow stain on the ground with little pieces of silk flapping in it like a dying butterfly. And you literally have 2 chapters here. One is 3 lines.
The end. And this was when Aurora Rose was pretty sure everyone was supposed to wake up.
That's the chapter, folks. Next chapter.
The end, question mark. I'm still here, the prince said, rather unnecessarily. Aurora Rose thought. He ran ahead through his thick, dirty mane. Chunks of broken and burnt hair came out. At least I hope I'm still asleep. Aurora Rose regarded the pile of filth where Maleficent had died. In the middle of it, like it was the only real thing left, lay the giant spindle, still gleaming and sharp. Liana lay nearby, broken and torn apart. Her black eyes were open to the apocalyptic sky above. A cold wind blew over the degrading landscape. Aurora Rose took comfort that someplace beyond the trees, her people were safe. They said royal blood would break the spell, Philip continued. You killed the evil queen. What's going on? She wasn't the real queen. Her voice was strangely flat because of the desolate world, the lack of anything for sound to bounce off of. She took a deep breath and winced when it hurt her ribs and chest. Hey, look, Philip said, pointing to the only other distinctive thing among the piles of trash and rubbish. It was the image of the real Aurora, asleep in her bed. He approached it and tried to walk through like a door, but he just pushed through it like it was air and wound up looking at it from behind. For just a moment, sleeping Aurora stirred, and dream Aurora felt hope rise in her chest. But all sleeping Aurora did was drop an arm over the side of the bed. Her fingers uncurled as she relaxed back into deep sleep. A single crimson drop fell from the tip of her wounded index finger. Royal blood, Aurora Rose murmured. Royal blood. She knew what to do. Aurora Rose squared her shoulders and straightened her helmet. Then she turned back toward the spindle. Don't you dare, Philip said uneasily. Rose, what are you doing? She ignored him. Rose, stop. He leapt up just as she reached the sharp, ugly black thing. But all she did was touch her finger in it. Philip sighed in relief. Aurora Rose stiffened. The pain that ripped through her body wasn't that of a single prick. It was as if fire climbed up through her veins and then out through her ears, through her mouth, through her nose, into the world. She gritted her teeth and tried to ignore it. That was what a queen would do. Cradling her bleeding finger, she walked slowly and carefully to the image of the sleeping princess. She looked at herself, the hollow cheeks, the beautiful hair, the slender neck, the spotless gown. What a mess, she murmured. The little girl, the young woman who could figure out an escape from her fake life and arranged marriage only through death, who would never who had never known enough to question anything. She took one last look around the bleak, terrible world where she controlled everything. It could be a paradise if she just imagined it. She took another deep breath, reached through the image, and held her own hand, touching blood to blood. The last time she had pricked her finger, it was to sleep forever. This time, it was to wake up and live.
Happily ever after. Princess Aurora Rose woke. Yes, we can just stop there and end it. They're done. All right. Princess Aurora Rose woke, suffocating in heavy corseted gowns. She had sworn she would go right to work, but was surprised by her own skin. I was older in the dream, she said aloud, surprised by her own voice. Several years had passed with Maleficent. Here she was, still 16. She swung her uninjured younger legs around to the side of the bed where Philip was stretching and yawning. Wake up, Prince, she said, clapping his shoulder. We have a lot to do. Their moment of peace and transition ended quickly. Screams, inevitable but still shocking, began to ring out from the different areas of the castle. Some people were not waking up. Some people were as dead as they had been in the dream. 3 tiny creatures, red, blue, and green, buzzed into the room and rapidly became familiar, very welcome little ladies. Ants, Aurora Rose cried, surprised by how glad she was to see them. The rush of feeling that overcame her, despite their betrayal mere hours before in this world, she leapt up and gathered them in her arms, squeezing tightly. Rose, Fauna cried happily. They all had tears in their eyes, even Merryweather. But still, we, Aurora Rose whispered in her Flora's ear, will talk later. Well, yes, of course, my dear, but my lady. One of the faster, smarter guards, Aurora Rose made a mental note to review him later, with a possible eye to promotion, appeared at the door, face haggard and aghast. The king and queen, your parents, are dead, murdered, as well as countless other nobles and servants. Here, he added, a little unsure of himself. None of the others who had slept had the advantage of knowing the full story of Maleficent's true intentions and the point of the dream. Doubtless, they would be confused and terrified. Thank you, she said politely. Sadly, I am already aware of the situation. This is all the result of the evil that Maleficent wrought. Philip was finally upright, still stretching and grim with the loose ends of the adventure. The guard's eyes kept flickering to the prince's. I need you to take as many guards as you can and scour the castle for any remaining of Maleficent's servants, Aurora Rose said. Kill them all. Afterwards, we need to send a unit to go to her lair and destroy it utterly. Set fire to it and all of its contents. I don't want a repeat of recent events. We must make sure that every aspect of her is dead and gone. Absolutely, my lady, the guard said. He looked relieved that someone was taking charge of the situation, but hesitant about carrying out those orders. Perhaps Prince Philip or your cousin, the Prince of Fendali, can both help you out with the search, Aurora Rose said, putting some spit into her words. She changed her mind about his promotion. If they are up to it, all able-bodied men with swords are welcome to do so, nay, encouraged. She moved purposefully out of the room, still with the infinite grace and she had been born with. Yeah, that was terrible. She moved purposefully out of the room, still with the infinite grace she had been born with. But there was iron immobility to her shoulders. Fauna sighed, already a queen, that one. The 3 fairies and Philip hurried after her. In the real world, she had been in a castle as an adult for only a few hours, but it was with some superficial differences, nearly exactly the same as the Thorn Castle. She had no trouble finding the throne room. If nothing else, the sounds of chaos would have led her there. For just a moment, Aurora Rose caught herself viewing the room she had destroyed just moments earlier in her mind. The real one was different in ways that made her queasy. Lengths and heights of things were changed. Colors and decorations were off. It was set as if for a party. My wedding, Aurora Rose realized belatedly. She stood halfway down the grand staircase she was supposed to have descended with Philip, her arms in his, to greet their parents. Gold and blue tapestries hung everywhere. Shiny horns and pennants hanging from their bells flashed in the light. But this was not the scene of the musicians had prepared themselves for. Beautifully dressed ladies dragged their priceless gowns through pools of blood and wept. Men tried to comfort them or each other, or they themselves wept. Bodies sprawled on chairs and the floor in terrible poses. People, Aurora Rose shouted, trying to channel King Hubert's lusty call from the dream world. Only a few looked at her. One, however, was a horn player. Aurora Rose impatiently gestured at him. He complied immediately. Like the guard before, he was only too happy to have someone giving orders. He played a loud royal flourish and could perhaps be forgiven if it wasn't perfect. And the crowd turned around. At that, the crowd turned around. Strange noises, murmurs of recognition and astonishment rose from them. They remembered her from their dreams. They remembered the battle, her facing off against the dragon. Noble ladies and honored gentlemen, Aurora Rose said as demurely as shouting would allow. It is a sad day for our kingdom. My heart goes out to all we have lost and those who loved them. I know that no words of mine can stem your grief. Even so, there is much work to do. Those who aren't in need of immediate assistance, please return to the rooms in which you are staying. Our servants will care for your every need, and we will send for you as soon as all things are tidied. There were a few mumbles of protest, but otherwise everyone who could leave seemed glad to do so. No one went alone. All were in little groups, whispering and discussing and sharing what they remembered, the strange experience they had all endured while asleep. A man in severe black robes and a soft hat strode over to Aurora Rose. Other men in similar robes followed behind him. They all wore thick golden chains with heavy gemmed pendants on them. Ministers or secretaries or some such, Aurora Rose decided. Like the ones who had yelled at her in her dream within the dream. It seemed that sometimes sleep did indeed mirror life. Your Highness, it is very good of you to take this under your own personal direction, the first man began. But as you are new to the kingdom and have had no experience with such matters, and are a woman, moreover, another man put in, and a woman, the man continued, your delicate constitution may not even survive the viewing of your parents, much less what else needs to be done. What I am saying is perhaps you should leave the sorting out of things to us, your father's advisors, and maybe your uncle, Prince Jodri. Aurora Rose regarded him mildly, trying to conjure memories of the beautiful girl full of grace everyone was supposed to fall in love with so easily. Did I not face down a dragon unarmed while the rest of you fled to the protection of the woods? The man blanched. I haven't, oh yes, you remember it well. Please do not pretend it wasn't real. Aurora Rose said firmly, trying not to hiss the way Maleficent would have. After such an ordeal, believe me, I am quite capable of taking over civic matters. If you have some disagreement with my manner of doing things, you may, of course, bring it up later in conference with me, privately. Also, from here on out, you will address me correctly as Your Majesty. Yes, Your Majesty, the man said, nervously glancing at the men around him. No one would meet his eyes. Excellent, Aurora Rose said. Thank you. I look forward to meeting with all of you later to discuss how to proceed. She strode forward out of the knot of men, Philip and the fairies trailing smartly like an entourage. The prince was trying very hard not to smile. It took her a long time to make the short journey to the thrones. Noblemen and women who had looked so alike and unreal in their perfect dresses and matching raiment in the other world became human through tragedy in this one. It took her a moment to recognize Duke Walter of the Five Trees, the short, sensible, middle-aged husband of Lady Astrid. The princess had never had much to do with him in the Thorn Castle, only his wife. His cheeks were wet and red, and he held Lady Astrid's head in his lap, refusing to let anyone take her away. Aurora Rose knelt and clasped his hand. I am so sorry, she whispered. He nodded, not really paying attention. Even a brave princess who fought dragons and saved everyone, including him, couldn't distract his attention from loss and grief. She steeled herself and moved on. The young, powerful, and now dead Marquis and Marchess of Longbow had left behind 3 children, the oldest of whom was 12. He tried to look brave, but hysteria leaked from the edges of his eyes with tears. Maleficent hasn't paid enough for her crimes, Aurora Rose murmured after she kissed and hugged each of the children, unable to do anything else for them in the moment. Finally, she came to her own tragedy. The bloody and lifeless bodies of King Stephen and Queen Leah, still propped up in their thrones. No one had dared touch them. No one knew what the protocol was. Aurora Rose leaned over and looked into their faces, but the dead told no secrets. I forgive you, she whispered, because there was nothing else she could do. She kissed each one on the forehead, then summoned a servant to come to cover them and take them away. King Hubert had apparently fallen asleep near the royal couple, having been in discussion with them as they waited for Aurora's arrival. His face was sopping wet with tears, but now he was talking to a guard, to a servant, to a dazed-looking noble, to anyone at all who would listen. Years I lived in the wilderness. After that blasted fairy exiled me. Years. Once I ate some mushrooms out of extreme hunger. Didn't know what they were, but they didn't kill King Hubert. No, I tell you, takes more than that to take me out. Hey, Philip, my boy. His eyes lit up when he noticed the couple. I was just telling this lad here, one of the many Israelites that I was leading through the wilderness. Like Moses I was, eh, boy? Absolutely, father. Say, I don't suppose your mother came back with the rest of us, did she? He asked, eagerly looking around the room. She was lost somewhere too, but maybe she came back. The prince looked searchingly into his dad's face. Something was broken in the old man. Roaming the forest of his dream world for himself for years, he had indeed altered him, just as he had suggested. Philip wrapped his father in a tight embrace. Aurora Rose saw for just a moment tears quicken in Philip's eyes before he screwed them shut and willed them away. He sobbed a huge shuddering sob of loss for all the things he had endured but didn't name. The dream world had changed everyone, even the boyish, unflappable Philip. But what's wrong, lad? King Hubert says in wonder. We're all right now, father. But whatever he was about to say next was interrupted by someone calling desperately from across the room. My lady! The guard Aurora Rose sent off to organize to search for Maleficent's servants came running back to her, looking a little pale despite his exertion. We found something that might be the remains of Maleficent or the dragon, he said unsteadily. Aurora Rose set her shoulders, feeling grim. Show me, she ordered. She and Philip and the three fairies hurried after him, picking up a half dozen of the more quick-witted guards as an escort. Back through the chaotic throne room, past the tables in the great hall, out the courtyard, and then through the gate over the drawbridge, like it was no big deal. The princess tried to keep from gawking. She was just walking out of the castle she had seemed to be trapped in for so many years, and the thorns on this one, receding now, were small and pretty and covered in flowers. On the other side of the outer wall, bushes and fields still smoldered from Philip's battle with the dragon. A blackened, steaming crater outlined where the dragon had fallen. Philip's sword was still there, pinning the tattered remains of Maleficent's capes and robes to the earth. But instead of Maleficent lying around them, it was Liana. In this realm, she was more pig monster than human, though she still had her beautiful black hair and wore the vestments of a lady. Tusks protruded from her mouth at awkward angles, and her delicate hands ended in strange claws. She looked over at Aurora Rose without moving her head and smiled faintly. You're still alive, Aurora Rose said, kneeling beside her. Liana gave a painful snort. I was never alive, in this world or the other. I'm just a piece of Maleficent and some dark magic. Semantics. I'm dying now, or a reasonable version thereof, and the last of Maleficent dies with me. Aurora Rose took Liana's claws in her own hands and squeezed them. Why did you save me? You were my friend, the creature said simply. Aurora Rose felt the tears welling up more than the day could hold. Liana's eyes turned toward the sky as if she didn't want to see. I learned that. I learned that you can care for someone and be cared by someone, even if you're not created with that as part of you. You can learn that. Maleficent could have learned that too, but she never did. Things could have been different. Her breathing was ragged now and growing shallow, the sound made worse by the tusks. She shifted uncomfortably. Biting back a sob, Aurora Rose gestured to Philip. Without needing to ask, he ripped off his cloak and handed it to her. The princess folded up the cloth and placed it as best she could under the girl's head, tucking it around her neck. A look of relief spread over the creature's face. Thank you for this and everything. And then, just like that, her eyes grew filmy and still. Aurora Rose let out one desperate cry, a shriek of helplessness, anger, and loss. Philip put his arm around her and held her tightly. Look, he murmured. Liana's face began to shift and melt. Her whole body did. But instead of dissolving into the black, hissing soot and filth the demons usually became, her features transformed. Lying dead on the floor before them wasn't a pig thing. It was a young woman with beautiful long black hair and high cheekbones, and black horns sprouting from her skull. A tiny, pleasant smile sat on her lips. She looked at peace. It's Maleficent, Aurora Rose whispered, as she was originally, as she could have been. Philip shook his head and swore, kicking the dirt in frustration. This, he muttered, this is our happy ending. Last one, big guy. And this book is over.
And this book is over.
Go for it.
This is the epilogue. All good things. Aurora Rose sat at the head of the ponderous, heavy table, arms resting gracefully, regally on the edges of the throne. She regarded the men putting forth different thoughts on the economic ramifications of consolidating the kingdom's power under a single princess, no, queen, no, wait, girl, with a gaze that was just a shade warmer than cool, amused detachment. It wasn't an unconscious decision to adopt some of Maleficent's trademark moves. Why not learn from her, even if she had been an enemy? Behind her throne to the left stood Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. Their presence added just a touch of mystical power that kept people in line whenever they started to think about using the term princess. On her right sat Philip, honored guest of the kingdom, but he sat away from the table and didn't speak. If anyone tried to address him, he replied with his usual affable demeanor and directed them to their queen. The tapestry was pulled aside from the door, and a trusted butler entered. Your Majesty, it's time for the speech. All able subjects have been gathered in the outer bailey. Thank you, Krister, Aurora Rose said, trying to sound more polite than incredibly relieved. And thank you, gentlemen. You shall continue we shall continue these discussions later after the coronation. She said this warmly and with a smile that made each man in the room feel like he personally was being thanked. Only a few looked unhappy as they filed out. As soon as they were gone, she sank down in her throne, hand to head. Not that long ago, she could have conjured a mug of cider and caused the scrolls on the table to fly around the room amusingly like a flock of sparrows. But then, of course, she had woken up. Oh, that was marvelous, simply marvelous, Fauna said, putting a delicate, weightless hand on Aurora's shoulder. You certainly have the knack for this whole leadership thing. Yes, it was very well done, said Flora. You have them eating out of your hands. I think you should turn the one in the corner into a toad, Merryweather said, bunching her fat little face into a scowl. Rose nodded with a faint smile, taking their praise as graciously as she could. They did love her. She had just sort of outgrown their ministrations. I still haven't forgiven you for lying to me about my parents all those years, she warned them. Don't think you can flatter your way into my good graces. No, of course not, dear, Flora said with a sigh. Please see it from our perspective, however. While we are here, we are bound by the laws of your kingdom. And it was what your parents wanted, Rose. What my parents wanted? Did they show any great insight or ability in parenting? She demanded. Whose idea was it to lock me in a bedroom by myself on the eve of my 16th birthday and not even introduce me properly to my parents? It made some sort of sense at the time, Fauna said thoughtfully, a finger to her on her lips. Oruro stared at them blankly for a moment. I pricked my finger on the spindle because I thought I would never see Philip again and my life was over. Yes, well, Flora said, looking chagrined. We didn't expect that to happen. Honestly, we never realized how sad you were. You were our first baby. Philip muttered something unprincely and very rude. Well, you try being bound by human kings and human law, Merryweather snapped. Which of you brilliant house apes came up with the idea of people just inheriting the rule of a land instead of choosing the best person for the job? We had to do that what the king said. Your own rules, people. We loved we loved Rose. We still do. Even if we didn't make the best choices as parents, Flora said wistfully, touching Aurora Rose's hair. We'll do better with our next baby, Fauna said, promised. Aurora Rose felt her heart stop. She loved her aunts. She forgave her aunts. She was growing less bitter and angry with every second she spent with them. She did have, in her own way, a freer childhood out in the woods than many princes did. But she would never, ever give up any child of hers to them. If I ever have a daughter, you can be sure I will keep her close and teach her well and school her in the arts of reading and math and kindness and make her strong and powerful enough to protect herself. And I would never let anything come between us. She smiled as she thought the words. Come on, let's go, Aurora Rose said, rising from the throne and heading to the door. Philip's face still brightened as at seeing her moving so gracefully, her golden hair now pulled back in a more businesslike braid down her spine. In a antechamber to the speaking balcony, King Hubert was seated comfortably on a padded stool. Several polite looking young men, nobles and servants alike, clustered around and listened. The thing is, lads, the thing is, once upon a time, I was in an endless dark forest. No, actually endless. I tell you, in another world. I wandered for ages all by myself in the woods. My wife died years ago, you see. I don't know where my oldest boy was. My little girls and lads were safe at home, I think. Once upon a time, we were all together in a castle, you know. But things change. Wives die, and eldest son grow up and chase after princesses and peasant girls, riding away from you forever. Good afternoon, King Hubert, Aurora Rose said, kissing him on the cheek. Young lady, Hubert said with delight, taking her hand in his. I was just telling them, are you the princess? No. He looked at her and paused, searching her face. No, my mistake. You are the queen my son is going to marry today. Not today, King Hubert, Aurora Rose said with a smile. She brushed a stray lock of snow white hair out of his eyes. Oh, well, soon then, I hope. Grandchildren will fix everything, I think, he said pensively. Grandchildren love stories. We will see you in a moment, father, Philip said with a quick, formal bow. Then he patted him on the shoulder, unsure what else to do. They looked toward the balcony, where hornblowers stood at the ready, gold and blue pennants streaming from their polished instruments. A maid appeared in front of Aurora Rose with a crown resting on a pillow. It wasn't the small princess one the fairies had gifted her with, gifted her with, nor was it the giant golden crown of state she would have been given later at the official coronation. She had gone through the treasury very carefully and chosen an ancient gold trinket, simple and thick, that would be unmistakable as anything but a crown to the crowds below. Aurora Rose took it and thanked the maid, sending her on her way. I wish Liana were here, she said, trying to sound a little flippant. Sadness came through anyway, weighing on her as much as the diadem she pressed onto her hair. She would do something fancy with this, loops or buns or something. You look gorgeous, Philip said, touching her hands and squeezing them. Don't worry about winning over the people. If they're like if they're like me, they'll fall in love with you on first sight. You really did, she said, shaking her head, and perhaps had once too. She thought about their adventures together, how he had never given up on her, how he had forced her on, how he had constantly, annoyingly, remained cheerful and upbeat in any situation, how he had killed demons and always talked about his stupid horse and ate porridge that he hated. No, she hadn't fallen in love with him on sight the second time around. It had taken a few days. Hey, she said with a grin, ask me a math question. What? Oh, to prove we're awake. He grinned back. What's 4 plus 4? 8. Too easy. Give me another. What's 28 minus 15? 13. Again. All right, Princess Smarty Pants. What's 225 divided by 15? 15, silly. It's the square of it. They both paused, equally surprised by her answer. Well, what do you know? She said slowly. I really am a Smarty Pants princess. Philip took her hands and clasped them in his own. No, you're Smarty Pants Queen. Aurora Rose looked down at her hands and took a deep breath. Are you going back home after today? Yes, I think I have my own transition of power to deal with, Philip said, looking at his dad with a sigh. I think I might finally have to grow up and do all the things I was trained for. Hey, at least you were trained for it, she said with a wan smile. I think you'll do just fine. You think? Absolutely. Also, I think there's going to be a lot of talk about our two kingdoms with young leaders, young unmarried leaders. Can we please drop that just like 2 minutes? I'm just saying. I know, you're right. There are a lot of advantages to combining things. They were silent for an awkward moment. The noise of the people that could be heard below, shouts for the queen and exhortations from the guards telling people to calm down. Also, a lot of general yells. Hey, Queen Aurora, Philip said suddenly. Philip suddenly said, as impish look on his face, before all this starts and things get too complicated, and we have to figure out what we're going to do. Yes? What about a kiss? Aurora Rose's face broke into a surprised, pleased smile. Absolutely, but just a small one. And Prince Philip took Queen Aurora Rose in his arms and kissed her deeply and passionately, and she held him tightly, and they drew strength and love and support from each other. And they did live happily ever after, if not exactly the way they had originally expected.
Let's get it on.
There you go.
They do find each other. They do like each other. Um, I don't even care. The book's over. It's all she wrote. That was. I don't even like the way it ended. It's over. That's all. Let's just listen.
It's over.
There's nothing to discuss. Dream world forever. Magically, they wake up, killing Maleficent, and they still seem to rule the kingdom.
I like that they didn't. Yay, about time, says Snickers.
It was such a bad book. The first one was amazing. Same author did the second one. It's awful, in my opinion. I don't even care. It was just not good. It's time to move on to the Beast. Whatever
The Beast is next.
The Beast Within, is that what it's called? Or
yeah, I think so.
Here, I got it on here.
Yeah.
Now that I can get off this stupid book.
No, we are not rereading this book next week, Stacey.
I mean, we probably should read it again just to make sure we understand it.
Oh man.
Know before you go. Follow the author. No thanks.
This one was a hard one to get through.
It was super hard. All right, so the next one is As Old as Time. It's called A Twisted Tale. What if Belle's mother cursed the beast?
Ooh.
Very interesting.
Interesting. Welcome in everybody that I didn't see earlier that came in. Corby Sinclair, hey Gina, good to see you. So Stacy asked if we're rereading this next week, and Snickerdoodle said, no, Stacy, for the love of princesses, no.
For the love of anything, no.
She's the author of the next one, too, says.
She's author of like 4 or 5 of them right off the bat, I think. Yeah. Once Upon a Time is the first chapter in the new book. So if you want to follow along with us, it's called Tale as Old as Time. If you followed along through this one, for heaven's sake, just go get the other book. I think it might even be free on Prime.
It's $7.99.
Okay, it used to be free because mine says you've borrowed this title.
If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free. And I think Kindle Unlimited is like $11.99 a month. Because I looked into it last night. I know I've got a promotion for like 3 months free with it.
So back in the day when we first started reading these, I think this was a free one, and there was one other free one. I downloaded them at that time. Nice. So mine says you have borrowed this title. I didn't pay for it. I don't have Kindle Unlimited, but it still works. So
there you go. That's good. Nick D'Ambrosio, welcome in, Nick, and Paul Engel. Good to see you.
Is it time to do other things?
I do not have the next book.
You got a week to download it.
Yeah. So I'll have to get that.
Is it time to do other things now?
It's time to do other things now.
Oh, thank goodness. I want to paint.
Disneyland fan Steve says I need to come up with some Kindle book ends. I've looked that if y'all are interested in getting a Amazon Kindle, they have recently lowered the prices on all of them.
Wonderful. Now that I already bought 4.
Yes. In fact, the Scribe that has a pen that you can actually write on like a notebook is at like an all-time low. I think it came down like $80 or $100.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So dang it. Debbie said that's what she got also is 3 months free. Not $11.99 is a lot of money each month, but I make it. Yeah, I get that. I'm thinking about canceling my Netflix. Maybe I'll cancel Netflix and go with Kindle Unlimited. So, anyway.
I mean, are you reading more books than 2 a month?
No, not really.
Honest, yes. If I'm being honest, you know, the books are like $7 or $8, maybe less. It's the cost of 2 books, basically. So if you're gonna read more than $2 a month, go for it. But
if you're not, it's not worth it.
Yeah, like that one took us like 8 months to do. So
what it felt like. So yes, we're gonna do other things now. I am gonna work on Lego some more.
I'm gonna paint.
Kind
of watching a basketball game though too, so I gotta wait for this. There's 3 minutes to go. I gotta wait for this to be done, and then I'm gonna paint.
I mentioned this last night. I got the new Parks Starbucks tumblers.
Yes, all of them.
I got the Magic Kingdom and the Epcot one.
Those are cool. And
I told Angie that she thought the Epcot one was just flat great, but it's not. It's very iridescent.
They're all shiny. They're all metallic.
Yeah.
All 4. They're gorgeous though. They're the best ones they've ever had.
I really like these. And it's 24 ounces. It's stainless steel. And yeah, I like it. Monorail Molly. Hey, Molly. Good evening. So I've been drinking out of this one today. That Epcot. I wanted the Epcot one a lot. So, yep. Yeah. So I'm going to work on.
Yep. You're in the middle of the film strip, aren't you?
Yes, I'm working on the
tape. I'm sorry.
The video cassette, the Aurora. I mean the aerial one. I know Justin was here. He might be asleep right now.
Sanudo?
Yeah. He might have tapped out. I was wondering if Joy was here, but I haven't seen her. So, yeah. So, let me
that's all.
Move the Stormtrooper.
Oh,
and the goldfish that the boy child snacks on. Let me see. thunderstormy right there. So I was a Disneyland fan wants to know if you're rooting for the Pacers. I believe so.
Yes.
I was hoping to do Name That Tune. I'd mentioned this last night. Do Name That Tune this weekend. I'll be honest. I think that's going to get pushed to next week because this is taking a lot more time than I had expected. I didn't get as much done on it today because of doctor's appointments with Dad. And several people are going to be out because it is Memorial Day weekend. So I think we'll push it to next week. Stephanie L, welcome in. Stephanie said, okay, I'm back upstairs. The tornado warnings are done, but still under severe thunderstorms for a few hours, 70-mile-an-hour gusts. Stay safe, Stephanie.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it the Crusoe's anniversary? Happy anniversary.
I think it's like that was terrible. Why would you do that? So stupid. I think it's the 25th anniversary, if I remember correctly.
Really?
Something like that. I think it's a big one.
Sweet.
Dang it.
I'm gonna drop in some music.
I think there's less than a minute left in the game.
You're good.
And the Pacers had the ball and jacked up a stupid shot. There's 57 seconds to go. They got a 3-point lead. They just
Diz Noah, welcome in. Good to see you.
Ooh.
Snickerdoodle finished her Lego today.
Nice.
Yep.
I'll be back into the swing of things here in just a minute. I just gotta watch the end of this.
That's all right. You're good. No worries. You know what that means, Snickerdoodle? It's time to buy more Lego.
Yep.
But talk to me before you buy more Lego.
You want your points.
No, I think she signed up for rewards the other day, actually. I was about to say that.
I mean, if you guys need some, I know a guy that can get you a discount. So
yeah. All right, we're gonna switch cameras here and try to got 2 bags left.
2 more?
2 more.
So you might finish it tonight.
Yep, she said she did sign up for rewards.
Nice.
Told her it was free. She might as well.
Oh yeah, you might as well grab your free.
Oh, and Snickerdoodle, if you bought that Up House at Target,
You can get it with points.
you can get your points for it.
That is correct. Yeah, he shot a stupid shot. With a minute to go, 14 seconds left on the shot clock too. You jacked it up there.
Yeah. Good night, Main Street Nick. Have a good one.
Who'd they call the foul on? That's
All
so
right,
dumb.
bag 12.
Terrible call. Not a terrible call. It was the first one.
What game is this in the series?
Number 1. It's the Eastern Conference Finals. And when you're this close and you're away, you need to take this game and you need to take this game. And
I don't keep up with the NBA.
They're up 1 with 57 seconds to go. They got the ball. So, run this clock down. Get a good shot. Hit that shot. It's pretty easy concept. That's way too early, but he still hit it. He did it in 10 seconds. He had another 14 seconds on the shot clock to run down. Get a big. Yes. Finally. All right. They keep running down and shoving like constantly, which I know it's the NBA. That's why I can never do the NBA.
Oh,
ref,
yeah.
because I would be kicked out for calling it. They haven't called it all game. The Pacers have shot. They just hit a free throw. The Pacers did. It was their first free throw they shot since 5 minutes into the first quarter, and they just got shoved. And they finally called the offensive foul. The Pacers are up 3 with the ball with about 30 seconds to go. I don't know. They need a big score here.
So glad there wasn't a tornado here, but I do know there was one in parts of Wisconsin and a bad one in Iowa. I hope everybody stays safe. Those aren't fun at all. I've sat through a couple of those warnings myself.
I saw a very unique weather phenomenon today. I was coming home talking to my mom. I took a picture of it. I looked over and I said, I think there's a tornado over here. And I looked over and saw it, took a picture, then took a, but what it was the start of a downpour storm.
Oh, wow.
And it started in a stream, just one little stream. And then it started widening. And it started widening. It was crazy to see. And I thought it was a growing tornado, but it was just it was rain by the time I stopped. Oh, no, they did not call the offensive foul. They called a timeout, apparently. And yes, it is. There we go. That a boy. Down the field. He just lose the ball. He called timeout. Did he get the timeout? No, you got to be kidding me. Oh, my God, you guys.
They didn't get the timeout.
No, they're throwing the ball around, and he dove for it, caught the ball, called timeout, landed out of bounds. They didn't give him timeout. He said he didn't have possession, I guess. Yes, he missed. Rebound up. He missed too. Thank God. And they fouled us. Now we got to hit one of these free throws and we win the game. Come on. This is, if we steal this one, we have played very poorly. Very poorly. If we somehow steal this game.
Where are they playing?
Not in Indiana. So it's a road game. You got to steal this one.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't get free throws. Never mind. Get the ball back inbound. What's going on? Keep bleeding. They're moving him. Yeah, bleeding. They do have one of my favorite players on their team, though. But he just missed the shot, so I don't care. Yeah, now he's like, slow down. We're messing up. You got to quit making mistakes.
Molly, I think she's got a bookshelf that she's thinking about doing that with, actually. Putting her Legos on and some other things. We've been kind of brainstorming her background layout.
Oh my gosh! No way!
Did we win?
No. We were at the ball, and they would throw it in. The guy shoved us, and they didn't call it. They called it out of bounds on us. That can't be the right call. They got to be going the other way, right? No, they didn't. This is a terrible game. And he's holding his jersey, too.
Have a good night, Corby. You have a good Wednesday. I'm
going to film this and show you. You tell me. Well, no, I'm not going to do it. They were holding his jersey as he's trying to run. As he gets closer, he doesn't even touch the ball. He shoves the Pacers player. He's got one hand on his back, one hand on his arm, and then they call the ball out of bounds on the Pacers. He's getting
You
mauled
ordered the
by
one
guys.
thing
he's
we
all-
discussed
I
tonight.
mean, I don't even know how this is close. I don't even know what they're looking at because he touches the ball before it goes out of bounds again. So that's mute. It's whether or not he got fouled, I think.
Snickerdoodle, did you order the thing for the background that we discussed, or are you talking about Lego?
Oh my gosh, they are giving them the ball. That is so terrible. They just tied the game up with 5 seconds to go. That is insanely
Wow.
stupid. What a terrible, terrible game. Terribly officiated game. You can tell it's a homer. That's stupid. I don't even usually blame refs because I am one. That's a terrible, terrible, terrible officiated game. The last 6 minutes have just been like, you can tell they're trying to hand it to them. That's so, but the Pacers have played terrible too. They can't, I mean, it's not all.
Yeah.
They make some terrible decisions, but my gosh, I don't know. This is stupid.
Background on. Gotcha.
There's some idiot fan out on the middle of the field while they're shooting a 3-pointer too.
Oh, good.
They're letting him sit there right next to the referee. I mean, somebody important because he's on the front row, but still. Oh, now they're trying to see if it's a 2 or a 3. I think he's clearly behind the line.
Disneyland fan says NBA officiating has been terrible this year.
It has been terrible. I know, Jeff. But I hate the fact that a team can work so hard in the finals of the conference and then get screwed out of it like this. It's still tied. That last call was just absolutely insane. 3-point, we're up 3 with the ball. You gotta shoot. God, unless they're going to overtime, they're gonna lose now. I'll be back.
I didn't realize you were that into the NBA.
My teams, but I can't stand it when this is what makes me upset about NBA. I hate watching it because the officials are absolutely terrible human beings. Both ways, not just one way, but that's why I quit officiating because I couldn't stand to be in the same sport as these guys get paid to do. How you blow calls like they're blowing right now, and it's almost like it's obvious.
Yeah.
Pacers are not a big market team. Them in the finals does not do the NBA any good. But it's just atrocious what's going on right now. Oh, that's not me. One of these is going to have to work. Ooh, maybe a combo of both of them. I got that. Should be good for a while. Get all the main stuff going in.
Again, welcome in. Good to see you. We're still working on the big set, the Disney Villains Lego set. Nah. Yeah, we do. Um,
Okay, I think I've got everything I need. So okay, where do we want to start? Let's start with
Alyssa and Neil, welcome in, Neil. Good to see you.
let's go with these two.
What are you painting tonight, Steve? Or can you say?
Well, yeah, she's not watching. I'm painting stuff for my grandma.
Okay. Nice.
No offense, she's not watching.
Yeah, no.
I'm painting this Minnie Mouse and some flowers.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Nice.
All right, so we're using this one and this one. Oh, wait a minute. No. This one and this one.
Molly said, Nicole says she'll love it, Steve.
I hope so. She tried to steal my mom's.
Did she?
Well, I've only ever done the one oil painting. I did it right before I moved down here. And she loves it and wants it. My mom won't give it to her. So she asked me to paint her something else, which I said I would. And but I said I can't do it in oil because those are all in storage and I don't have the space or time because that thing takes like five days to 2 weeks to dry. Doing Minnie in a non-traditional color, like a spring type thing, a pink bow and a light blue dress.
Nice.
Jesus.
All right. Nicole said, might as well leave Steve alone until the game is done, LOL.
Yeah, I could care less anymore. It's just getting worse.
Nathan, welcome in.
This game was not supposed to be won by us.
Well, there's a few more. You still got a chance.
Yeah, but this is dumb. I see. This is why I won't watch another game in the series because of this right here and how bad the officiating is and how bad we're playing. I mean, we should be up. I don't know. And then at least they gave us the ball. They got a foul, but they gave us 2 us out of bounds. We should have won this game by 20 points already, and it's just not. It's just a combination of everything. Now we're down 1 with 2 minutes to go, so.
Mini BS, does anyone have cookout plans for Memorial Day weekend? What are y'all doing? We have a small army at the lake. Meat-a-palooza on the grill and smoker. That sounds good, Wendy. I think I may come down and join you at the lake.
Did you say meat-a-palooza?
Howdy.
Where are you?
Oh, I'm tired, honestly.
Is that
Been a
the
long
boy?
day.
So,
He's been at a car show tonight.
yeah. There's a traveling supercar event, I guess. First time it's ever been on the East Coast, and it came through Greenville, South Carolina. And so me and some of my buddies went downtown to see it, and it was well worth the drive. It was a lot of fun. So, saw some really cool, really expensive cars I've never seen in person before. So that was awesome. And I met some people that went to the Miami Grand Prix, the F1 Miami Grand Prix.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really cool. They got like front row seats at the start finish line.
Wow.
Yeah, they got like the good tickets. Hello, everybody.
Nice, Nicole. Molly. Sweet. Molly has a friend coming to town to visit and having her birthday party. Nice.
Nice.
By saying, "Hey, boy, child." I don't know if we're grilling out or not. I've got Monday off.
I have Monday off.
You do?
All of Costco has a paid vacation day off.
Well, look at that.
I know, right? I get 3 days off.
Did you say paid vacation day?
Well, it's like a paid holiday.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that we'll be grilling, but we'll probably go somewhere and get barbecue. Sure.
Oh my gosh! I just found out. So where I work at is not. They don't have the greatest of restaurants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have 6 restaurants, same ones to choose, and they're not very good except for Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
I just found out that near the next month, two new ones will be done. I didn't even know they were building them. And they're two good ones: Raising Cane's
Oh.
and City Barbecue, which I have not seen in Florida yet. Was my favorite barbecue from back up in Indiana.
Nice.
So those will be done here in another month ish.
Oh, I put 2 pieces there instead of. Alrighty.
God, this is ridiculous.
What?
He's watching the game.
Yeah, the guy's dribbling out here, and the guy comes over and hits him, and he loses the ball, and they give it to them out of bounds.
They had the game on over at Bricks.
Get your hand, he's shoving him and pushing him, and the ball goes out of bounds, and oh my God, this is annoying as crap.
Alfredo sauce. That was gas.
Yep. So that's a term now. Gas means good.
Yeah.
Gas means good. I'll write that down.
Like if you
watch the rest of it. They're stupid.
It can work for anything. Like that race last week was gas.
Oh, okay.
You can't force it.
So we're
If you
dropping
force it, it sounds weird.
we're dropping money and we're going with gas now.
I had never said money. I don't know where you got that one
Oh,
from.
okay.
Maybe in the 90s.
Okay.
What do you say?
So gas is the new cool word for cool or awesome.
Oh my God, your generation needs help.
It's gas.
Hey man, y'all's parents probably said the same thing about y'all.
No, we didn't have. We invented catchphrases and words.
Yeah.
We're inventing plenty of things.
You're trying.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd brag about that.
You're being a Debbie depressor right now, Steve.
That's gasoline, man.
I'm gonna gas on out of here. Y'all have fun. Have a good night, everybody in the
Good night,
chat.
buddy.
Not bud.
First, I thought you meant like gas, like in your body.
Oh,
Like gas would be the opposite of cool.
you would think so. It's me, David T. Welcome in. To you. This goes here. This. There.
When I look at you like that, you lose it completely. Losing track of space and time. I don't wanna go home looking for a reason to stay here all night. I wonder, do you feel it too? Magic between me and you, the way that you make me feel. You wonder
That
if
work.
I feel the same. The blood's rushing through your veins, and then when I say your name, bet I'm everything you see. Bet I'm everything you need. We're high on this feeling, don't wanna come down. Just go on and tell me, get into my eyes, and everything you need. I'm everything you need. You usually don't share any secrets. Suddenly you're an open book. When I struggle to find the words, you get me completely. It's like I've known
Go
you before
together.
I was so. I
Then these go
magic between
here.
me and you, the way that you make me feel. You wonder if I feel the same. The blood's rushing through
Come
your
on.
veins, and then when I say
Okay, what do we got here? This is gonna be.
Okay, that's pretty cool. This is the video cassette.
Yeah. You get the film strip in it yet?
No, not yet.
Dang it.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay.
That is very cool.
Last bag.
Okay, I was literally already asked if you'd started the last bag yet.
Nope.
I'm more excited for this than I was the end of the book.
We were excited for the end of the book just because it was the end of the book.
I guess that's it. That's probably a lie. I made that up. Probably. We were pretty excited for the end of that book. Okay, what do I do? Oh, that's the back.
We need 2 of these. Um, all 4 of these.
Crap.
Wait, I missed a piece. These go here.
There's a lot of pieces in the last bag.
Not a lot. No.
Like a smaller bag.
Yeah,
The last thing's gonna be you putting the whole thing together.
I think so. I fell asleep. No worries, Debbie. No worries at all.
Oops. Not even 11 o'clock yet.
Nope, not.
We got plenty of time. All right, so there's that. Anything else I'm going to do? No, I think that's going to be good. We're good there. Let's go ahead and get another code on there. Up here. It's covering really nice. That's good.
Oh,
Maybe we'll get by with just 2 coats. What's your next Lego going to be, Chris?
I do believe
What's the next one you're going to build?
it'll probably be either going to be R2D2 or the brickheads. That set of
Oh yeah, the Star Wars ones.
Star Wars ones.
I was immediately going to say R2D2, but then after I thought about it, now you probably could break up the big one with the little one, so you have another big one later when you're done.
Yeah. These pieces.
I know what your next purchase you said last night was going to be the Notre Dame, didn't you?
Yep. That's what I'm gonna get next, I think.
I hope there's a hidden Quasimodo somewhere.
So,
Okay. Mhm.
I have really liked this set.
Oh, that's a cool set.
I'll be honest, I've enjoyed putting this together a lot more than I expected to enjoy.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that? You didn't think because it's Disney, or?
I don't know. I don't know if it was just I was anxious to do it because I thought it would be a cool set, but it's a lot more intricate than I actually thought it would be, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a little bit to it.
Yeah. I like all the little hidden features and the hidden characters and all in it.
Yep.
I like that the build is so segmented into sections. That's what that's kind of what I was meaning on it, Wendy. I like when you're putting it together, you're like, all right, I'm not sure where this is going, but it all goes together so very nicely.
I like the ones that have like the hidden compartments and the hidden. Like
Yeah.
that one's got the little mermaid inside the VCR tape.
Yeah.
One of my favorite builds was the Nintendo, where it had the scene, one of the famous scenes from Mario Brothers, built into the side of it. But that one was like closed off. You wouldn't even know it unless you built it. Oh, come on. Mess that up. That is supposed to be. Well, not really. There we go.
Here.
There we go. Fixed.
All I really need's a little motivation to pull you from the other side. What I need to show you is my obligation. How much longer can you hide? You can try and push away from me. You can,
Getting close, Chris? Oh, is that the rest of the pieces you got there?
Yep.
but once you get a little
Do you get excited or sad when you get close to the end?
wanna get up off your knees.
A little sad, to be honest.
Same. It's almost done.
Yeah.
You can always tear it apart like you used to your puzzles. Start over.
Yeah, I learned you don't take things apart on screen.
I know Nicole remembers. I don't remember who else lets you know you don't tear you don't tear it apart.
Yeah. Hey, Jeanette, Sebastian the Crab, welcome in.
Yes. And you learned the wonderful world of glue.
Yep. Jeanette said, hello, all. Happy Tuesday, I think. Yeah, it's still Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Hope y'all are having fun, Jeanette.
I'm waiting here for you in a crowded station. You are still nowhere in sight. Something must have gotten lost in translation.
Chris, you probably got enough time. I mean, it's early still. You can get a brickhead done too,
You can try and say
unless you're tired.
you kick and scream, you're begging, please. But once you get a little taste of freedom, you'll need to get up off your knees.
Oh, come on.
What are y'all doing tomorrow night, Steve? I still keep-
Dave's going to talk about his trip.
Nice. Still keep forgetting tomorrow's Wednesday.
Me too. I got to do a thumbnail. But I don't have a picture of Dave here. I might just have to Photoshop something.
Yeah. Over.
All right, I think that. Yeah, that's nice and bright and bold. Now I'm gonna put one more coat on it. Let's sit for just a second. Oh, no tearing up puzzles, Chris. Never ever.
Nope. Nope. You taking your puzzle apart on stream was the best thing that happened. It gave us the glue intro. Well, there you go.
I was gluing regardless of whether he tore it apart or not. Still gives me anxiety watching you tear up puzzle. I mean, oh man. It's all right. Some people are just harder to train than others.
Uh-huh.
I think I remember here you even said you were defending it like, what if I want to put it together again? I'm like, who wants to put that same puzzle together again? It wasn't Lego.
I've done that.
Man, I don't know. I can't put the same. I mean, I worked really hard to put a puzzle together. I want that thing displayed and all nice and purty. Except for the one I got yesterday. I'm not going to glue that one. I'm afraid the glue would ruin it.
One of these doodads. These doodads.
What are you saying?
I said one of these doodads and one of these
Oh.
doodads. And that goes here. Brown. Yeah. Yes.
There we go.
These. This. Here.
You're so close, Chris.
I am. Oh, that's okay. That's cool. And then this goes here. These little triangles.
Butimus.
Here. Oh, look at that.
Is it done? Oh, he's putting it all together now.
Yeah.
ET's time.
Okay, wait a minute. I missed something here.
No, what did you miss?
I missed something. That's what it was.
Did you get the sticker on backwards?
No. These little doodads.
You get lots of doodads in that set.
There were lots of doodads.
We're gonna go with something different. Let's go with
Here.
this. That. Is that a good
That
Done?
is the set complete.
That looks so awesome.
So there's your VHS cassette, and then
Flip it open. Flip it open.
you flip it open, and
There it is.
there's-
That's so cool. Oh, it's color too.
yeah, it's all colored, and she's little bricks, so she's
That's
brick
awesome.
minifigs, and so the whole set kind of leans like that, and then you can set the there's an apple on there, and the watch there with it, and the card, and they just all, yeah. I like this set a lot.
It's cool. Looks cool.
That is a really cool set. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the biggest Lego set I have ever built.
That's crazy. It just doesn't seem possible. Did you enjoy it, Chris?
I really enjoyed that.
That was the only thing that matters.
X-Wing Tom says Disneyland fan.
I think you should start on the brickheads. I got more painting I got to get done tonight. It's not even, I mean, it's barely 11 o'clock.
Barely 11 o'clock.
You could maybe get 2 brickheads done tonight.
This is the brickhead set. So you've got little Anakin, Padme, Jar Jar, the Royal Guard, Darth Maul, and Qui-Gon Jinn.
You need Jar Jar.
Do they move and open? Yes, they kind of do, Stephanie. So like the apple opens up,
Oh yeah, you got all the hidden compartments.
and they have the little hidden compartments with the evil, the old hag inside the apple. You've got Jafar's book that opens up, and Jafar is a genie is hiding inside. There's a compartment in the Beauty and the Beast book that opens up, and there's Gaston inside of it. And then the Sleeping Beauty book. Sleeping Beauty book here opens up as well, and Maleficent is inside there.
Nice.
They have all nice little compartments where the minifigs are stashed.
This is darker than I want it to be.
I never got it, why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, the
I have so many complete sets on my table now. Huge congratulations on completing 2 tasks, a crappy book, and an excellent Lego build. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Um,
That's good.
yeah.
That's a good point. I already forgot we read the book tonight.
All right, so we're going to start the brickheads.
Yeah, which one?
I don't know. Let me open up and see which one's numbered what. But to be honest, I kind of want to build Darth Maul.
Do it. Do what you want to do. Whatever makes you happy, Chris.
This is interesting. Oh, it's a bunch of little books. I thought it was going to be one big book, but it's a bunch of little books.
Individuals.
Yeah, because it was all in one pouch, and I thought, well, maybe they just did one book, and you go through and do it. Nope, it's a bunch of little individual books. Stephanie Keel, welcome in. Good to see you.
Not bad though, because now you get to choose the one you need. You don't have to go through the whole thing.
Yeah. So there's Jar Jar, Anakin, Padme, Guard, Qui-Gon, and then Darth Maul. We're going to start with bag number 1.
Which is Darth Maul.
Nope.
That's how I usually do them too. Is I do them in order.
We're going to start with bag number 1, which is Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most hated characters in Star Wars.
One of the what?
They're probably one of the most hated characters in Star Wars.
Oh no, Jar Jar is awesome.
A lot of people don't have love for Jar Jar.
Well, a lot of people are entitled to their opinions.
I'm really excited for that new Lego movie, though.
Oh yeah.
Where we get Darth Jar Jar.
That's just too dark. I don't like how dark that turned out.
Like a Twisted Tail Disney version.
Yep.
Stephanie L says, no, Jar Jar is my favorite. My Katie NYC says Jar Jar.
Yeah. You sound like Jeff with Harmonious.
Hey, Jar Jar's, I'm neither here nor there, whatever.
But I do know that a lot of people do not like him, so
That's what I was just saying. That's what I meant to say is a lot of people don't like Jar Jar.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Oh, and that's interesting. I don't see stickers. These are all printed.
Yeah, brickheads usually don't have stickers.
I've had a few brickheads that have had stickers.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever had one.
I have.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like that color of blue. We're going to change that. Is this one lighter? This is the one I was going to use originally. That is lighter. That's actually what I should have gone with. We'll let that dry. Go over it. Ow! Hit. Look at that. What's that? It's part of the basket he's sitting on. So. Oh, I missed a pink.
I just watched Luminous for the first time. I've liked it live, I've liked it a lot, says Jeanette. Nice.
Yeah, I like Luminous is good. I like Luminous.
I can't wait to see it live. I will say, in watching it on streams, there's a couple of points in that one that really kind of get me.
Yeah, it's good. They did good with the music. The narration I don't like as much, just because it gets so quiet and people don't. It's not their fault that people don't know how to shut up during a fireworks show.
Yeah.
So it gets a little annoying. Okay. I think I got this thing backwards. Yeah, that's what I'm used to right there. Yep, there we go.
Good night, Stephanie Keel.
Bye.
Is it better than Luminous? I mean, Harmonious.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, Harmonious, in my opinion, is the best one they've ever done. But it fit perfectly. The music was perfect. The fireworks were incredibly perfect, and everything just seemed to go up because they did it with the different. They would sing it in English and from the country that they were trying to portray it from. Yeah, it was pretty gorgeous, Harmonious, in my opinion. Jeff, not so much. He didn't like it.
I love that show, but I got to see it in person early on. It was dark at first, but they tweaked it. Now it's great, says Wendy B.
I don't think they tweaked it that much. I know it's still dark. It's still a dark. When she says dark, I think she means like not visually dark, but like nothing changed in that regard. It's the same music. It's the same narration. They just put music behind the narration. So it's basically about the cycle of life.
Right.
They still go through the death parts. They still go through all that. Unless she is talking about visual, but I don't think she is.
The death part's the part that gets me.
Yeah, it's still there.
I mean, I still like I want it in there, but yeah, that gets me every time.
Again, what they did, though, is they shortened up the gaps between the narration.
Oh, yeah.
And they also put some music behind it so that because people were complaining about the dead space so much, no pun intended.
So it flows better.
Well, you just don't. It doesn't really flow. I don't think it flows any better. It's my opinion. But what it does is it dampens some of the people that don't know how to be quiet during a fireworks show. So it's not like complete dead silence.
I'm not gonna lie, I did like Harmonious.
Harmonious, I love Harmonious. I saw it. Man, I couldn't tell you how many times I saw that show. I would go home and just swing by to watch Harmonious. When it was done, I would leave. That's the only reason why I would go to Epcot or Disney some days is just to watch Harmonious.
I like the music that they played after Harmonious too.
Yep, that too. That's a big deal. The post show. Okay. Oops.
Hate it when I'm looking for a piece and it's right in front of my nose all the time. Harmonious was great, loved it. I was surprised how short the post show was for Luminous, really, Jeanette. That was the thing with Harmonious, is it just kept going and going. People would stand around because they didn't know if the show was over or not.
Well, Luminous does the same thing. It's just they play a song and a couple other songs from the show. Get a little light. I don't think it's as long as Harmonious was, but it's a decent size.
Have they pretty much stopped using the Magic is Calling song?
I don't know, if I'm being honest. I haven't watched the post show or the Luminous show in a while.
They would use that for sometimes that afternoon parade at Magic Kingdom some too.
I didn't know that. Last I think I heard it was during the Festival of the Arts at Epcot, but I don't know if they still use it or not.
I don't know if they that was for the 50th. Snickerdoodle says yes, thankfully. Weenie said hadn't heard it in a long time. It was for the 50th. I thought it was for the 50th, but I didn't know if they still used it.
The what? The Magic is Calling?
The Magic is
No,
Calling.
that is supposed to be Epcot's new theme, supposedly. But I think they transitioned it into saying, "Oh, we're going to change it."
Yeah. I know a lot of people weren't that fond of that song, but it would get stuck in your head.
Oh, I like the song.
I liked it. It was played way too much, this Snickerdoodle.
The Magic is Calling?
Yeah.
Played once a day.
Mark says Pete wore it out on his channel.
Well, that might have done it then, but
Jeanette says she hadn't heard it at all, and Stephanie said she hadn't heard it since the 50th.
it was at the Festival of the Arts, because they did it with they did that song and then followed it up with the new Figment song. I can't remember who sung it.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
But now I want to go watch Luminous again just to see what it stay around and see what does play afterwards.
What
now.
plays after?
It's been a few months since I've seen it.
It was
Yeah,
played more
Harmonious
than
I was there all the time. Luminous is still good, but
Yeah.
I'm just not like rushing over there for that sole purpose.
Did oh crap.
Not afraid.
Not afraid.
It's a lot more intricate than I thought it was going to be.
Right, there's that. Around. There. Here. There. Three, two.
What are you counting down for?
Because I'm just counting down pieces.
Oh,
It's what I do.
I thought you were gonna be like 3, 2, 1. It's done. I was gonna say that's too fast.
3, 2, 1, clickety click. We're done.
There we go.
Life goes up and it goes down. I know my mom taught me that. I figured
Sure.
why we fool around.
Should have drew her eyelashes after I was done painting.
Track of time.
They're kind of a hassle to go around.
Idiots thinking it will
Yeah.
matter, keep me company downtown before the clock runs out. Sun is shining, but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around, and then I remember all things must pass. But I'm not gonna wake
She ain't gonna wake up.
wake up.
She is not going to wake
Let
up.
it let me have another day, don't wake up.
Call her Aurora Rose.
Pit steady, I'm not gonna wake up.
I don't want to read the book again.
Whoa, no, not yet.
You know what we should do is you should go through and record us reading the whole book, just the book parts.
Uh
Put
huh.
it on a loop and play it while we sit here and do this kind of stuff. No, don't do that. That would be a terrible idea.
Jeanette said, I got to touch the Epcot Dolphins. It's a behind the scenes tour called Dolphins in Depth. Expensive but highly recommended. That's cool, Jeanette. I didn't know they did that.
Nemo and the Seas with Nemo and Friends.
Yeah. I didn't know they did that there.
I can't remember. That's not the one in the water, right, Jeanette? You actually don't get in the water for that one.
All things must pass. But I'm not gonna
I do recommend people do the behind the seeds tour.
That I want to do.
It used to only be like $25. My dad does it every time he comes down.
I think it's still like 35 or 45, something like
Yeah,
that.
and it goes off a lot. You just go up the morning to Soarin' and sign up for it.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm one of those weird people that loves living with the land, though. so-
Oh, I love living with land. Yeah, the whole thing's good. It is the one in the water. Okay. She said check her Instagram, Chris, and she has
Okay.
picked you up.
Cool.
Okay, that blue looks a whole lot better. Still a little dark because of the last one, but we'll make it work.
Oh. Here, by the way, is Snickerdoodle's post that she finished the up house.
Hang on. I
There
can't
it is.
recall. Hang on. Okay, what? Oh, nice.
Jeanette just sent me. Oh, Jeanette. That's cool. Okay.
Are you sharing or not sharing?
Yeah, I'm going. I guess it's okay to share. Yeah. You tell me if it's not.
I mean, if she made it public on her.
I was about to say, I think she posted it on her. Via's is also asleep already. There you go.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
She's holding the dolphin.
Yeah.
And it looks very happy.
There's Victoria. That's awesome.
Wow.
That is cool. I didn't know they did that.
They grow up so fast.
I did not know they did that at Epcot. I know they did do a similar thing at SeaWorld, but I didn't know they did do it at Epcot too. That's cool.
There's actually quite a few excursions you can do, or tours, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Several over at Animal Kingdom. They got them in all the parks. They're really cool if you ever get a chance to do some of them someday.
I didn't know that they did that whole thing around the safari.
Oh yeah.
That is cool.
So Animal Kingdom has one about the elephants. They have one about the walking bridges that are up in the air.
Yeah.
They do the nighttime safari. Yeah, they get all kinds of stuff.
I don't know where I'd been, but I didn't know they did all those.
That blue's a little darker than I want it to be, but we're going to make it work.
Reel me in to get it going. Open me up. Sweet talking like you mean it, but you're making it so complicated. I f***ing hate it. Every time I get too close, you push me away. Don't wanna stay, telling me you don't want any obligations. And how you hate them. Don't call me just 'cause you're lonely. You know you're killing me slowly.
These have got to go.
Oh, you can do the dolphin one without a park ticket.
Really?
That's interesting.
It's making me. Give me something straight from your heart. All this insecurity is tearing me apart. You're making me sleepless. You're making me sleepless. Yeah. I keep chasing in this game of playing pretend. I don't wanna be a 4 a.m. I'm suffocating just by waiting on you. So don't call me just 'cause you're lonely.
There you go. One Jar Jar.
Jar Jar. He's a Jar Jar Binks.
Here's his ears on the back. Actually looks very much like Jar Jar. It's kind of cool. Have a good night. It's me, David T. Good to see you. Jan said she's done the Wild Africa trek twice. It was great.
Nice.
That's cool. The rhino one, they don't take any photos. Really? The dolphin one you can do without. I didn't know there was a rhino one.
Yep.
You know, Steve, I have never been over at Animal Kingdom. I've never been over to
Rafiki's Planet Watch. Don't tell me.
Yeah, Rafiki's.
Oh my gosh, it's the best part about Animal Kingdom.
Never been over there.
You go over there and you can learn how to draw characters first off. That's one.
Yeah.
You can watch them perform surgery on the animals. You learn about the habitat and all the other stuff, and they got some live animals that come out, and it's a cool. And there's a petting zoo. You go there and pet the animals.
Had no idea.
You're
Never
missing
been
out.
over there.
You're missing out, Christopher. Yeah, I gotta lighten that dress up. I don't like that at all. Where's my? Which one are you doing now?
This is going to be the Anakin.
Okay, be right back.
Quad Racer Anakin. Probably the smallest one. Yeah, Snickerdoodle. I've never been over there. I'll be honest, I didn't know what was over there until I watched, I think it was Tanya. One of the first days I watched Tanya in a while. She went over there and I was like, I had no idea this was over here.
I can take this anymore. You say we're done, but you still want more. Baby, what I need is you out the door. This time I'm sure, yeah, that you're a bad boy, up to no good. Trying to be a man, but you're stuck in boyhood. Baby, you won't ever treat me the way you should. So it's over for good. I will never smile for you, smile for you, smile for you, smile for you.
But that's sort of, I think I've said it before. We used to always treat Animal Kingdom as like a half-day park. We just didn't think there was that enough there. And
That was always my magic or Hollywood Studios.
well, we treated it like that. But when I came back on my solo trip, after the shutdown, first time I came back, I really fell in love with Animal Kingdom. And
My favorite park.
I've been spending more and more time there each trip. So
Put some more there. That's probably too much.
You made your bed, now lie in it, baby. Rest your head, let it dream about me. Cause I'm fed up with you crazy. I will never smile for you, smile for you, smile for you, smile for you. Yeah. I will never cry for you, cry for you, cry for you, cry for you. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Why do you expect me to when I'm over you? Can't you tell by the look on my face that I will never
Just out of
smile
curiosity.
for you, smile for you, smile for you.
Well, that's way better. We're gonna make that our color. Perfect.
I will never smile for you.
it's amazing, how much I still have not done in the parks like that.
That is, and out of the parks. You've not visited half the resorts.
I haven't been.
I don't think.
I haven't been to most of the resorts. No.
Time to rectify some situations, Chris.
Yeah, I think so.
This Polaroid picture of us from June 24th. It's where I kissed you for the first time, laid on your sheets. You gave me your heart and said you trusted with me, but all I did was let you down time and time again. It wasn't my intention. Maybe we should have been friends. So you're someone I used to know, but nobody said it'd be easy. But maybe I should have known. One more drink, just swallow it down.
All the tours are called Enchanting Extras.
But nobody said it was easy.
Hence why I love lists. LOL, we're going to fix some of this stuff. Yes, we are, Snickerdoodle.
I've been out till late shift
And it may take a few trips, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
got a million stupid reasons not to call. It's just that I want to. Do you remember how we pulled the drapes and the
I have never, Steve, and it's going away, I know. I have never done It's Tough to Be a Bug at Animal Kingdom.
Yep. That one you may still have time.
If you by the time your December trip rolls around,
Yeah.
it is possible that'll still be around. You don't seem to be in a huge hurry to get rid of or fix anything over there.
Well, the storms flipped a semi not far from where I work. Really?
Yeah,
Great.
some powerful wind.
Yeah. I hope that's part of It's Tough to Be a Bug, Stephanie L. Stephanie says the butt poking is the best at the end.
You can't ruin it.
Somebody was asking me the other day, I think it was my aunt, was asking me if I had ridden Tower of Terror.
That was a fun day.
I was telling her about our experience.
That was a real fun day. You just giggled like a schoolgirl.
I did.
Up out of your seat, back down in your seat. Up out of your seat, back down. It'll be a whole different experience for you now.
It will be. Completely. I was and still surprised how much Elise enjoyed it and that she actually went on it.
I think I made jokes about it all night long.
We did.
And then he said yes, and I was like, I thought she was still joking.
Yep. Tower is in my top 5, maybe top 3. Really, Wendy?
What is?
Tower of Terror.
It's good. Very good. Probably, I don't think I've ever listed in my top 5, but it's a good ride. And I do enjoy it.
It was. I want to do it again. We only did it the one time. I want to do it again.
At the end of the night.
Yep. I really like Mission Space.
Do you do the green or the orange?
We do orange.
Don't turn your head sideways.
Yeah.
I never do feel like it's supposed to simulate like weightless gravity and all. I don't ever feel weightless in that thing. And I can tell I'm spinning, even though they say you can't. But I love it. It is good.
The kids wanted to do it, and Elise wanted to do it in orange. So we did, and that's what we've done ever since. They requested.
I remember when that came out for the first time, they used to like they had trash cans lined in the thing, and then they would give you barf bags, and kind of like what they did with the Guardians when it first came out.
Did Space 220 Lounge today too? Food was excellent, says Jeanette. That's cool.
I like the lounge.
Never
I
been
like
there.
to sit down more, but I like the lounge too. What'd you get, Jeanette? They changed their menu up a little bit now. If you sit in the actual lounge side, you're not supposed to be able to get some of the things that we were able to get when Carlos and I went.
Really?
They broke the rules a little bit for us. Because the lunch menu and the lounge menu are two different menus, even though they're right next to each other. Like you sit in the same, you get the same experience and everything. Just this table here would be considered lounge. That table over there is considered lunch.
Snickerdoodle said she can't do orange now after she had her mild concussion. It messes with her head too much now. I get that.
Yep.
Jeanette had shrimp tacos, rib sliders, and steak and fritas.
That I had the steak frites.
Shared it all. That's awesome.
Yep. The steak frites is so good. Carlos had the when we went, he actually had those sliders and he liked them a lot. He said it could have been a whole meal.
Yeah. I'd like to get over there sometime. Try the lounge. I want to give Victoria had the steak and it was cooked so well. Nice. Stephanie L said shortly after Mission opened, I went on it as a teenager and that was enough for me. My heart had palpitations and it scared me.
Oh wow. That is not a good thing.
I want to try Guardians again.
Ugh. Guardians is good. I just wish they would quit spinning you. It's one of those like Mission Space. Once you start spinning, you got to focus ahead. Can't watch what's going on around you. It's a shame because what's going on around you is so good.
Really good.
So smooth too. Oops. Dang it. Oops.
Good one. Great one. I recommend trying these types of rides at the end of your day if you think you may get sick. I had Mission Space ruin an entire park day for me by doing it in the morning, said Jennifer. That's not a bad idea, Jennifer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a definite. If you're not sure, wait till the end of the day.
Yeah. Snickerdoodle says she loves Guardians. Stephanie L said do the back on row of Guardians.
I've done every row on Guardians.
Marguerite Nagy asked which side is the orange in Mission Space. It's
It's
the right side, but it's the more intense.
Yeah, there's green and orange.
It's good. This is going to sound silly, Steve. You may laugh at me, but one of my favorite rides, and I know it's not, when it came out, it wasn't really popular, but one of my favorite rides is Remy's back in France.
It's good. It's not one of my favorites, but there's
I
nothing
like
wrong with
it. It just makes me happy.
It's a good ride.
I like that movie.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
You can laugh at me after this. It's okay.
If it's Disney, I'm probably not going to laugh at you. I may not always understand where the thought process is, but I'm not going to laugh at you by any means.
It is such a good movie. I love that movie.
Here is Patton Oswalt, his voice.
Yes. Yep.
She got to know me, I got to know her, and suddenly it's war. Then peace go on and off. She's getting to me, I'm getting to her. Here's what I've been thinking, here's what I would do. When two people are sinking, you should get them out the pool. Here's what I've been thinking, I don't know what else to do. So I'm forever calling her truth. She's a roller coaster ride going up, down. I'm forced to feel feelings that I can't fight. Not 20 anymore, gotta realize that I'm too old for puppy love. Party's getting weaker by the years now. Can't take it anymore, I need a time out. Not 20 anymore, gotta realize that I'm too old for puppy love. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Tell you what, Anakin was a lot smaller than Jar Jar, but I think he's taken longer than Jar Jar because it's all tiny pieces.
Yeah. Sometimes those little ones have just as many pieces or more to create them. So we're almost to the point where I'm going to be making Minnie look like Minnie with some black paint.
There's tiny Anakin.
Aw.
Helmet, his hammer, and his little goggles flip up. They come off so you can see it.
You got one more. Who is it?
Well, the next one in the set is Padme,
Oh, man.
or Queen Amidala, or whatever.
I like that one. You going to do it tonight? Or are you feeling pretty tired?
Well, I mean, I can go one more. It's
I'm
midnight.
staying. I got to stab and paint. I want to get the black done on this.
Okay, we'll do Padme. Debbie says, I'm afraid of all those types of rides. I get dizzy so easily. I want to try them, but I don't want to get sick. Yeah, like Jennifer said, you don't want to ruin your whole day.
Yeah, my parents get at the age where they get nauseous. And so we've ridden a lot of rides. They've always gotten on every single thing that we've ever done, but then they go, nope, no more of that.
Yeah.
You know? Like my dad won't do Slinky Dog anymore because it was just it messed with his equilibrium a little bit. So we got one of my the one I actually filmed it and put it up on my channel. If you listen to the very end, you'll hear him go, "No more Slinky Dog." So,
He had his fill.
He's done. Yep. And that's perfectly okay. You don't have to ride rides to enjoy Disney.
Wendy says she's lucky that stuff doesn't bother her. I normally don't have a problem, but I did when I rode Guardian. I got off feeling a little. And it wasn't that I don't know that I felt sick. It's just I felt out of sorts, like disconnected.
It makes you feel like your head and body don't line up.
That's exactly how I felt.
And do you know why that did that? Because you were watching the story and they started twisting you and they screwed up. They shouldn't have done that. If they would have left it alone, it'd be the best coaster they have.
I don't know it was as much that, Steve. So I'm going to be honest with y'all. And this is something I've never really shared on stream, but I'm going to share it now. When I rode that ride, I barely fit in that ride.
Yeah.
And the lap bar was extremely uncomfortable to the point I was hurting before we took off. And I think that amplified my not feeling good and yeah.
Possibly could have. I know a lot of people that have ridden it that have the same thing, myself included. The first time I rode it, same thing. Felt like my head was disattached from my body for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And it's all because I was watching the screen and they were twisting us. Another one of my buddies, everybody knows, but Chris from LBB TV, professional soccer player, threw up on it because he was watching that. Now everybody knows you don't watch the story anymore. You just focus ahead. I've been on it a dozen times since then and it's been fine. Yeah. But when you watch it the first time and you're just trying to watch what's going on around you because it's so cool, then they start spinning you and you start getting a little nauseous. It's not even nauseous. It's like it's a weird feeling. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And but all that aside, if they wouldn't do that, it would be perfect, absolutely perfect. And then the worst part about it is because of the way it makes you feel, they have you go up and over stairs.
Yes.
And that's the worst thing they could have done. People in the beginning, people were falling down the stairs. They were throwing up on them. It's just, those people don't ever ride it again. So it's weeding itself down to the people that can.
Yeah.
But again, if you focus ahead, don't pay attention, focus on the chair right in front of you and don't pay attention to the story that's going on around you, you'll be fine.
Stacy said she thinks every ride will be different for me now. I think so, Stacy, for sure. Jeanette said makes sense, Chris. The rides might feel so different now. Yeah, I think they will.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're definitely going to feel. That's going to be awesome. Just from a comfortability standpoint, man.
Yes. 100 Acre Wood said, sounds like me riding Hogwarts. I was ready to leave the ride a third of the way in. I was having second thoughts about that ride when I...
Hogwarts?
No.
Oh.
Guardians. Before we even pulled out, I was like, this is hurting bad.
Harry Potter has like 3 different rides. 2 of them are very difficult for people to ride. The Hagrid's is awesome. Anybody can ride it. The one inside the actual castle is very claustrophobic. And for me, when I put it on, it's about as it's pretty, I don't want to say, I'm not uncomfortable, but it's snug. It's right there at the base of where I should be at. And then the other one, the Gringotts Bank, is amazing. I loved it. Sometimes I can ride it, sometimes I can't. It has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that my knees stick up too tall. And in doing that, they can't pull the lap bar down on top of it. It doesn't hit anything else except my knees. But they cannot assist you. And it's in a position where it is not easy for me to pull down without hurting my knees. But I did learn a trick to it that I'm going to try the next time if I ever go back. And that is, I was told to, basically cross my legs at the ankles.
Oh yeah.
And it'll lower my knees to where the bar should come down enough. It's always like one click away too. Just your femur doesn't bend.
Yeah.
So, or your, no, it's not your femur. Yeah, your tibia and your fibula. Those two don't bend. No, wait, that's your arm.
Snickerdoodle said she can't ride Hagrid's.
What are the two? What's the bone in your bottom of your leg? The shin bone. I cannot believe I can't think of this. I know every bone in the body.
The lower bone in the body and the leg.
It's tibia. Is it tibia and fibula? No, that's it. Or is that in your arm? No, radius and ulnar in your arm. It's tibia and fibula. Tibia, fibula. Those bones are too tall for me, and they don't.
Yeah.
I can't get in the ride because of it.
I still, after losing the weight, I'll be honest, I'm not sure I'm going to ride Mine Train again. That my legs were just not comfortable fitting in that thing, and it was just my legs. I mean,
Yeah, but you never know. It's worth a shot at riding it again.
yeah. That lap bar is scrunches your legs tightly together.
It is tight.
There are things that don't like that much compression.
Wow. You're not wrong though.
Disneyland fan says, I love Mine Train. Jeanette says Mine Train is small, but she likes it a lot. Hunter Acrewood says Mine Train hurt me. My knees were jammed up. Yeah.
You can do that.
Night, Debbie Thuner. Have a good one. Debbie Burnfield says she still has Universal on her bucket list. She wants to see the Harry Potter world.
I would recommend doing it during an Orlando Informer event. Just my
During the what?
Orlando Informer is like a news outlet down here.
Uh-huh.
They do like 6 events a year where they rent it out. It costs you $200. But you get both parks for 7 or 8 hours, and all the food is open and included.
Oh, wow.
And it's very limited. So, like, the only thing we had to wait for was Hagrid's, and it was only 20 minutes. Even Velocicoaster was a walk-on. That's the only way I've said for a while now that I will ever go back to Universal. It was so terrible over there. Don't fall. Saved it. Who are you building again? Is it Amidala?
Amidala.
Oh, crap. Gotta get you.
Snickerdoodle said, Mine Train hurt me so bad last time I rode it. I refuse to ride it again until I lose some of this weight. Yeah. That's me. Jennifer Caruso, have a good night. And again, happy anniversary, Jennifer.
Good night.
Congratulations to you and Ron.
Congratulations or condolences, one of the two. All right, now that'd be Jeff. Be like, how did you make it this far? No, I'm just kidding.
That's what you ask Angela.
What's that?
I said, that's what you ask Angela. How did you make it this far?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Amidala is 2 bags.
Ooh.
I was beginning to worry because I was running out of parts and I wasn't near done. Yes, she is 2 bags.
Good to know.
4.
That's going good.
Brendan Wren, welcome in. Good to see you.
Welcome. Yeah, she's starting to look way better now.
How many times have you looked at the frame that
It's sitting right over here. It's pretty awesome.
that's awesome.
Just right there. Yeah, the fact that it was like custom done to tailor what I actually enjoy
Yeah.
was pretty nice. I mean, it's nice anyways, but something a little extra special. And of course, the letter was the whole thing was just awesome.
Right.
I still want to know that year on that puzzle, though. That's crazy how old that thing is.
That is.
I'm guessing it's 60s, but I couldn't find the puzzle anywhere.
And in such decent shape, like the box wasn't
yeah.
all deformed and everything.
Yep.
They were, Wendy, awesome gifts.
The what?
Debbie, Wendy said those were awesome gifts. I said, yes, they were.
Yeah. Insane. I believe he said the print from the Donald golfing thing was from like 1938.
Wow.
Which is crazy in itself. I mean, that's older than Jeff is. What is that? That's 80. That's as old as my grandma is. 86 years old.
It's wild to think.
There we go. Getting somewhere now.
Square. A bumpy.
How's your dad doing, Chris?
He's doing pretty good. We had a doctor's appointment today and
Yep.
went over all the med changes and everything. So
they think they got it all in a good spot.
trying to get it all straightened out. Yeah. I'm just praying for a pause to the visits to the hospital.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wendy.
I just think if you ever make it back there, unfortunately, you could always reread the book we just finished, catch up on it with so you can stay lazy.
I got plenty of games on my phone, Steve. I can
Oh,
play
okay.
plenty. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, I got music on my phone I can listen to, and games on my phone I can play. I don't think I'm going to be
You're
going
okay.
back. Yeah, I don't think I'll be going back and rereading that book anymore.
No. My mom's reading the Aladdin one. She loves it. I told her, I said, well,
That's a good one.
don't be disappointed. I told my brother about that, my niece and my mom about. They're all reading them, and I told them how bad the second one is. They're like, the same artist, the same author did both of them. I was like, I know.
Yep,
Trust me, we had high hopes too.
we did.
Apparently, it just wasn't meant to be good.
Thank you, Brandon and Debbie. And he's an M fan. Appreciate it.
Okay. That's good. Ooh, I keep knocking. I need to move this here. I'm going to knock it over.
Interesting. Okay.
I would like to congratulate Wendy B for being last night.
She was last night. Congratulations, Wendy. Or not before last.
No, it was last night after
Oh,
my
was
stream.
it last night?
Well, I guess technically it was this morning because it was,
Yeah.
No, actually it was last night because now we're in a new day. You went live after I did last night.
Yep.
I believe she was last. I could just see her at home practicing. Control pace, control V.
Wendy, since I'm live, I won't tell you what Jeff said when you won.
He sits backstage and he's like, gonna get her. I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her. And he doesn't.
And he doesn't.
But a lot of times Jeff wins the chat that we see, that I see.
Yeah.
But for some reason, YouTube or whatever it is that you use, StreamYards, does it differently. Perfect.
She's doing it on an iPad. Wow.
Oh, wow. That is crazy.
Okay. So this goes here.
All right.
There. Here. Here.
I'm pretty happy about the start I got on this thing. So I was nervous. I want to get it done. I can't tell people yet why I want to get it done.
Yeah.
I want to finish it tomorrow. And because before I package it up, I gotta have it. It's gotta have time to dry and
Right.
all that good stuff. So, but I've got a really good jump on it. I should be able to finish it tomorrow before this and that.
Sweet.
And if not, while Dave's doing his recap, I might just have to paint. Oh, I just messed up. Dang it. Gotta quit talking while I'm doing the intricate details.
And then last one.
Okay. see if we can fix that now before it gets bad. Okay. Fix it. Fix the paint later. And then what else was there? Oh yeah, this.
These are shiny gold pieces.
Shiny gold pieces.
Yeah.
She is a queen. I
That's
love
true.
the costume from that
That,
the whole show, the costuming.
yeah. They did amazing work on it.
Yeah. Oops. Oh, well. Come on. I think I got her dress the color I want it to be now.
There's Queen Amidala.
You done?
Yep.
Very nice.
Her braids in the back.
That's cool.
So there's Amidala, Jar Jar, and Anakin. All done from that set. That leaves 3 for the next stream. The Guard, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul.
Who was the first one you said?
Her Palace Guard.
Oh, okay. It looks kind of like Iron Man.
That's what Molly said. When I showed them earlier, Molly was like, "It's weird that Iron Man is in Star Wars."
It looks a lot like the Iron Man brickhead.
Yeah.
Those are cool, man. And you finished the other one, and we finished the book.
It's been a night. We've been productive tonight.
We have. I got my painting halfway done.
Glad you enjoyed it, Wendy. Let me switch cameras here. Have a great night, everyone, and a wonderful Wednesday. You too, Jam. We're getting ready to wrap it up here.
Yep.
I really like that villain set. I think that set will look amazing sitting next to the Disney 100 camera.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So those will look nice on the shelf together.
That Disney 100 camera, that thing's awesome.
So the progress so far, Wendy's asking.
Do what?
Wendy was wondering if you could show the progress before we shut it
I
down.
already showed the picture, so here's what she looks like.
I like it.
I mean, you look at it like I've been working on it for what, 4 hours, and it's all I got done. But I do 3 coats, and I do it very meticulously, and all the other stuff. So,
yep. Appreciate everybody hanging out, sticking with us. It's been a long one. 3.5 hours. Wow. Hope you all have a good night and a wonderful Wednesday. Happy Hump Day.
It is Hump Day.
It is Hump Day.
Hump Day.
And we'll see you back here Thursday night after Corey and Jeff wrap up. Be sure tomorrow to I think Tina may be going at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Tina Marie's place, and then you got Joy at 8 o'clock.
Joy's
and-
ranking princesses.
Huh?
Joy will be ranking princesses
Yes.
in I have a feeling, a very unique way.
And this and that tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, and yep. Hope everybody has a great night. I'll be back, like I said, Thursday, and seems like there was something else, Steve. I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember what it was.
Thank you all for hanging out. Hope you have a good night and a wonderful wonderful rest of the week. And we'll see you in the chats and in the streams. Take care. And
For Wendy B. Auf Wiedersehen.
love y'all. Good night. Toodles.